Get her done. Good to see y'all. Glad to have another Sabbath day amongst us. One day closer to Holy Jerusalem.
Yes, sir. Praise. Oh, praise.
Y'all had a very good meeting today on our garden meeting. You know, for all y'all don't know, we have a garden, a community garden. It's on Goodfellow between Terry and Roosevelt. And the time is coming up that we'll start to till the ground again. So we had a very good meeting earlier. Sisters, you know, had everything lined up pretty well. So they're looking for volunteers. So at the end of class, we want to get with them. We right at about 2 weeks and 1 day outside of the Holy Feast Day Purim. And we got some things lined up for that. We're exactly 5 weeks out from the Passover. So y'all want to get the understanding of that, y'all, and just, y'all keep that countdown going. It gives people time to get that bad stuff out of your mind, y'all, because we can't show up at the Passover with ill in our hearts for anybody. So we got 5 weeks to get that cleared up. Because look, you can be there and you could have got all the leavening out of your house. But if you holding that cup and breaking that bread and you saying, I can't stand that nigga over there, you go into ventriloquist mode and talking without your lips moving, here this nigga come. With a cup in your hand. Y'all, you got 5 weeks. Ain't no need to right there, just ventriloquist talk. Put it there over here, come.
Oh, yeah, we do it.
So y'all, ain't no need to tarry on it. Let every man and woman examine themselves. Right. When you examine you, then we have to go out for you examining you. So no need to tarry on that. But today's lesson, y'all, is understanding laws and judgment. From Genesis to Revelation, we have laws and judgment. Now, how it's broke down in the time phases of our existence, becoming a nation, and before that time, is clearly laid out and established within these 66 books and the laws books that is mentioned. So, y'all, our primary focus must be on what's inside the book first.
Yeah.
And everything outside the book must agree with what's inside the book. Or you'll turn that corner and won't be able to come back. So what we have to do a lot of times, you know, you'll see us in classes and then we'll quote a law. But what we're going to do today is we're going to go into the law and get some understanding, because the law may be talking about this subject and then the next 2 verses it switches left field and get into another subject. And the reason it does that is so that we don't get comfortable or we have a curriculum that you kind of looking for. No, it's always going to be shifting and changing because it's dealing with every aspect of somebody's life. Yeah. This assembly is a lot of people here, but everybody has a different story or testimony that the law will hit. And it does that for a reason. So that you just don't get hung up on one area, you jump right to the next and you say, hey, that's me. That's where I need to get cleaned up at. And it does that throughout. So we're going to get into that and the laws are to be understood, 613 of them from the first 5 books of the Bible, which is called Torah. Now, the first book, Genesis, is the law at the beginning. From Genesis chapter 1 all the way up to the 49th chapter when we come out of Egypt. We then switch to a priestly order called Aaron, under the high priest being re-educated after being captive in a nation for 400 years. There's a lot of what we have to do called debriefing. It's the same way if this nation get a soldier, he get caught, and they're able to make a deal and get him back, he has to go through a debriefing. Because you've been trained in their way of thinking for all of those years. You only understand from their perspective. And look, y'all know the fastest way to learn another language? Be a captive. Over in Vietnam, you learn to speak fluent Vietnamese in a matter of months. You know why? When they tell you to pick up something and they hit you and you be looking, what you saying? Boogie bar, boogie bar. What the hell you saying? They hit you across your rear, pow, boogie bar. You know what boogie bar means? So that's how language is learned from that perspective, y'all. Any Catholic knows the language of that land is almost like they fluent. So we had to be debriefed from ancient Egypt. And we were brought under a priestly heavenly system. Look, these laws came from on high. Moses didn't create these laws on earth. He received these laws from the Father, written with the finger of the Father on 2 stones. And he wasn't up there just for 10. He was up there for 40 days and 40 nights. He was informed of everything concerning the beginning of creation up until that current time and prophecies of the future. Now, the difference is what we missing at this point is that we got half-book reading groups out here. You have Sunday doctrine that we call Christianity that teaches the back half of what we call the New Testament. You got Israelites and other groups who look at the Old Testament or the Torah, so to speak, and only look at that half of it, won't go into the New. But yet you'll find both groups cheating and sneaking back into each side of the book to prove their point when the book itself tells you the whole volume of the book is written. So once you understand it from that perspective, y'all, we can move on, and then you can determine, am I in error? Am I a babe being reteached again? Or have I graduated and I'm walking through my high school I'm moving toward my doctorate of the kingdom? Where am I at in my walk right here? If I keep going back to kindergarten, why should I have to keep learning my ABCs? The only way you have to keep learning your ABCs is if you don't know what a letter means. You still stuck in the song. Come, man, sing your ABCs for your uncle here. They from out of town. ABC, won't you sing with me? Now, show me where an A is on this chart and a D. If you don't know what an A and a D is and you just singing the song, you still in the school or under the schoolmaster, so to speak. This is, and we want to make it clear, there's no disrespect to Aaron and those high priests. But what we're talking about is going back to something you know is outdated, so to speak. It's like, would you wear platforms now, fellas? And when I style, they outdated. Right. So, right. Zeph member, but you can't wear them with the give overalls today. So, y'all, we want to get it from that understanding, y'all. So we'll hit some law, and we're going to deal with the law. And y'all, in Deuteronomy, actually the first 4 books, Genesis takes us through the order of Melchizedek, high priest, starting with Adam, all the way up into Joseph going into Egypt. Those were Melchizedek priests after that order. Law, statutes, and judgments, 613, 6 plus 1 plus 3 equals the big 10. And under those 10, the rest of those 613 are broken down for you to understand law and how to apply it in your life, how to make precise judgments on a matter, when to get into an issue and when to stay out of an issue. And y'all, these are the things that have to be established before you get into any discussion about these scriptures. The rules of biblical language and understanding. There's rules to it. If you start without the rules, it can end up anywhere. And you can't, at the end of anything, make up rules. You can't, in the 5th inning of baseball, decide a foul ball is a home run. No more than you can go on the boat and try to play blackjack like you play spades. You throw down a big joker on that table, you're going to be escorted out of it. Like, man, if you're playing dominoes, everybody needs to know it's 15 to get on board. and 10 thereafter. If you don't mention them rules, somebody can nick you, and you can't say nothing after 3 hours. Rules, y'all, and regulations keeps everything in line. Go ahead, man. What you got?
Y'all write this down. It's going in accordance with what Daniel is saying. 1 Timothy chapter 1. 1 Timothy chapter 1, verse 5 through 10. 1 Timothy chapter 1, verse 5 through 10. Going into the commandment and the laws, right? 1 Timothy 1, verse 5 through 10. And also the sincere intent of one's mind.
Absolutely.
When he's applying the commandment. All right, 1 Timothy 1 and 5. Now the end of the commandment is charity, out of a pure heart.
Right. Out of a what?
Out of a pure heart.
So y'all, when we talk about a pure heart, it cannot be tainted with anything. Look, these are commandments from the law. Anybody that's doing it from any other perspective out of a pure heart, you're wasting your time with this. Because your consciousness, you're doing it from a conscious level, which tells the purity of your heart. That's what the Most High is going to judge. If you worried about what we think, that should be the least of your words. Go ahead, brother.
Now the end of the commandment is charity out of a pure heart, and of a good conscience, and of faith unfeigned.
Faith unfeigned, y'all, ain't wavering when you saying what you believe. You have no guile on your tongue. There's no back door that I'm coming from to express this. You understand the law and you coming from it, and your conscience is telling you, if I be deceptive, I can be caught, because I know how the devil, my adversary, play, or unless I done got on his team.
Yeah.
And with us understanding the law as a body, the body will let the other part of the body know what's coming up against it. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 6. From which some having swerved.
Having done what?
Having swerved.
Now, y'all, where y'all think these cool words come from these youngsters? Last week it was blasted and wasted.
Yeah.
And they think they done made this up. This is the script, y'all. Go ahead, read some more, man.
Have turned aside unto vain jangling.
Right, so when you swerve, look, even like you swerve on the highway, you know, you're trying to avoid some, or what are you trying to avoid? And end up with vain jangling. Go ahead.
Verse 7. Desiring to be teachers.
Desiring to be what?
Desiring to be teachers of the law.
Of the what?
Of the law. Understanding neither what they say, nor whereof they affirm.
See, neither what they say, nor of what they affirm. See, that's why it says everything must be established. Understand, it's just given to. You're just giving to. But they must paint the same exact picture of that event that's taking place. Established, like something you can build a foundation off of. You can lay brick on top of brick on top of brick. But if you got those two set firm, you can build off of that. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 8. But we know that the law is good if a man use it lawfully.
The law is good if a man uses it lawfully. Y'all understand this. So, can the law be made bad? Yes, the law itself can be made bad, but individuals can take the law and twist it and make it bad, and that's what those who, you know, that refuse are into what we call unrepentant sin. Now they try to use the law to justify, they'll point out one of yours. That still don't take from the fact that all we now is just naming both of our sins. It don't make neither one of us right in what we're doing unless both of us are trying to get away with something. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 8 again. But we know that the law is good if a man uses it lawfully, knowing this, that the law is not made for a righteous man.
Now, what does that mean? The law is not made for a righteous man. Does that mean if I'm saved, I ain't got to worry about the law? No, a righteous man is a law keeper. Right. So you don't have to continually bash him over the head or every where you end up. We have to keep repeating ourselves, and you're sitting in a situation where everybody know why we here. We either want to get better understanding of the law, but it ain't the point of where we just, okay, yeah, you did this. I didn't see your shoes tied up yesterday. You did that. It's not for a righteous man who understands his direction. Because what you're trying to do is, the law is for sinners. What you're trying to do is get rid of that. The more you become perfect in your walk, the more sins you are cutting off. And if a man uses it lawfully, if he falls, he repents and he gets back up and turn away from that and try his best not to ever have that, do that again. That's keeping the whole law. When you hear somebody say you can't keep the law, that's a lie. Because from Genesis to Revelation, he says, keep my law. You don't understand what keeping the law means. It means hear it, understand it, and if you fall, get back up and don't do that again. That's keeping the whole law. We're going to be sinners, and we're going to sin because we're put in position to sin. But the deal is, what do you do under that situation? You make it worse, or do you say, I can't do that one no more? That one's going to hurt me bad. And not only this, but the body that I'm attached to. Go ahead, brother.
Knowing this, that the law is not made for a righteous man, but for the lawless and disobedient.
But for the what?
The lawless and disobedient.
So when you come in the assembly and you're seeing lawlessness and disobedience, then that's when you use the law. This is not what we said we was going to do, brother. We didn't say we was going to have this going on right here. The law is for the disobedient. If you know what the rules are when you come in, the law won't apply to you in that point because everybody knows exactly what we're supposed to be doing. But it's for the disobedient that won't hear the law. I'm going to do what the hell I want to do. Go ahead, brother.
For the ungodly and for sinners.
For the what?
For the ungodly and for sinners.
See, that's sinners with an S. So if you find yourself keep repenting that same law breaking, you got to get that in check. That's going to start out as a small sore and going to lead to an open wound and cancer. And then it's going to affect the rest of the body. Go ahead, brother.
For unholy and profane. For murderers of fathers and murderers of mothers. For manslayers. For whoremongers.
Right.
For them that defile themselves with mankind.
Right.
For men stealers. For liars. For perjured persons, and if there be any other thing that is contrary to sound doctrine.
What kind of doctrine?
Sound doctrine.
Sound doctrine, y'all, is when it's been seen every way, four corners. It's sound. It can't be moved. Yo, it's something very important that says, for a perjured person, people that have been caught up in a lie using this word, you perjure yourself. You tell the Most High, let that come out of your mouth. I'm down with this. I wish I would. Boom, boom, bam, boom. And now you perjured yourself because we're going to get into taking vows and oaths that you make to the Lord with your mouth. And we need to also understand you can holler out a bad oath and it will be heard. And your prayers will be answered for that, but you're going to be judged by that. So let's get that understood, y'all, but very good script, bro. We're going to start off in Matthew chapter 5, verse 17, so we get to understanding that when we start talking about how to apply this differently from what you saw coming out of ancient Egypt, you're going to understand that no laws are being changed. Only thing is changing is our priest, our high priest, how we are to look, and our higher priest who sits in the heaven. Y'all, we have a heavenly priesthood that we have to manifest within ourselves and walk and speak that. If you still thinking earthly, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem here on out because all you're going to be doing is trying to correct the lawless and the disobedient who's going to be right around you. And if you want to spin your wheels doing that all the time and you repeat in that bad company. But y'all, we ain't trying to be in that bad company. Same way, if you have a party, you know somebody's coming that's lawless and disobedient, either you borrow for coming, or you have to put somebody on them when they get there watching. If he even step foot toward that bar, break it off. If he go over here, if his eyes start winching here, let me know, we're going to get rid of this problem. But when everybody coming in the right mind and they know what we're here for, that's then you can enjoy. And that's practicing for the kingdom. No mindset of wondering what this person doing over here, and you're trying to have a good time and watch at the same time. Y'all, that's rough on any soul. Go ahead, brother.
Book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 17.
Yes, sir.
Think not that I am come to destroy the law.
So get that out of your mindset. Anybody tell you that the Messiah changed the laws or done anything? Come on, Sister Rose. Come on, Sister Rose. How you doing? Right, good. So y'all, that's the first thing. The Messiah didn't come to change any law with switching to a different priesthood or getting us prepared for that switch into the new priesthood. Y'all, everything, when it changes over, the rules are established. The law is established. Nothing in the New Testament changed any of how it was written in the Old Testament. There's a difference in how we have to view it. But it ain't nothing new. It's what was at the beginning. It's what was in the garden. It's what was in the heavens because the law came to the garden from heaven. We just reestablishing the beginning. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 17. Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets.
Right.
I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill.
But to fulfill. So y'all, when you fulfilling the law, the doctrine tomorrow teaching, that means we ain't got to worry about keeping it no more. It's been already. How do you fulfill the law? And then if it was fulfilled from that perspective, nobody would be sinning anymore. Why would you be? If you're using that as the guideline, it's been fulfilled, then something went unfulfilled, didn't it? Yeah. If we still sinning. How do you call yourself saved and there's still sin in the world? That's why during the millennial period, who won't be locked up? The enemy. To prevent that influence on planet Earth during that time. Until that happened, what he's fulfilling, you need to understand what he's fulfilling is the parts that were written about him in the law. I fulfill my purpose. I fulfill the part of never sin. He's fulfilling that, but that's just for an example for us that it can be done. Go ahead, bro.
Matthew 5, verse 18. For verily, I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass.
Till what pass?
Till heaven and earth pass.
Look, heaven and earth didn't pass in Noah's flood, did it? We still under them same heavens and them earth, so the laws we still under. Those laws was given in the Garden of Eden. If it wasn't, Cain was called a murderer in the Garden of Eden, wasn't it? He said he was disobedient in the Garden of Eden. Adam, well, not the Garden of Eden because they were cast out. Let me get this straight. Adam and Eve were disobedient in the garden. They were kicked out back to where they were formed from, and then they were disobedient in that land. Yes. Go ahead.
One jot or one tittle.
One what?
One jot or one tittle.
That's one dot over an I or one crossing of a small T. One jot or tittle. Go ahead.
Shall in no wise pass from the law till all be fulfilled.
Till all be fulfilled. So you see, he said there's more to come. See, and it says the law and the prophets I did not come to destroy. There's a second part called the prophets. Most people stop you at the law part. When he say he fulfilled the law, just kind of ask him, what about the prophets? What about Isaiah 66? Right. What about Zechariah 14? What about the second comings of Christ in the Old Testament? We void those out now. Let them swallow to try to figure that out. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 19. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments.
One of these what kind?
Least commandments.
Y'all, that's the smallest one. If we take a law in there, that don't really, see, that one ain't that bad. The Most High say, if you break the least of commandments, and this is going into the same thing of a little leaven and does what?
Living the whole lump.
If you start getting away with small ones, the big one ain't gonna be no problem for you. Go ahead.
Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments, and shall teach man so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven.
It says if you break it and then you start teaching it, you're going to be the last one to get to the kingdom. And that's what the least mean. Like if you having a party, and they say, man, Junebug heard, you know you throwing a party, you mentioned about something. He'd be the last one to get in this party. Look, and what does that mean, the last one? Do you count everybody else? Okay. Oh, you the last one, now you can come in. No, you mean he ain't coming in there. He'll be the last. No, he won't be allowed in. That's what you mean. Go ahead, read smart.
But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven.
Which one you want to be? It ain't a whole lot of explaining we got to go into to understand that. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 20. For I say unto you, that except for your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees, ye shall in no case enter into the kingdom of heaven.
See, and he listed a certain group. He said, if your righteousness don't exceed past those who pretend to be lawgivers and keepers, you wasting your time, you spending your will. And he labeled it to the Pharisees and the scribes, of what you call the modern day men of God at that time. Dressed up on the outside, outer cup teachers that teach outside in, it should be the other way around. Inside out. It's not what goes into a man that defiles him, but what comes out of him defiles him. That don't mean you can eat pork, because there's still a problem with it coming out of you that's going to defile you. So you're telling me if you use that scripture to justify eating pork, you're saying, when I eat it, I ain't punished, but when it comes out of me, I'm defiled. No, it's leaving you. Don't y'all understand how when you twist it and don't use it lawfully? And this is where you have to be sharp to bring that back to the full understanding, so that it's on their conscience. The last time I said it, I got correct. I can't say that anymore. Any children? Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Any children in the Passover class? Time to go, Sean. What you got over there? Right. Oh, I'm just talking about when they say the law fulfilled, there's another part that say, and the prophet. I was listing off and the prophet parts, like Zechariah 14, talking about the Day of Tabernacles. When Christ come back and all the nations have to come to Jerusalem. Isaiah 66, when there's a new heaven and a new earth. You know, Isaiah 11 chapter, when he sits as the governor, the chief counsel, the high priest, you know, all of those being fulfilled. If you let them get away with not adding in and the judgment, then they get rid of the first half of the book until they want to cheat and run back into it and say, well, a man, wow, God. Right. Just like those that don't believe in the New Testament, then when they're trying to decipher something, because they see in here in the book of Joshua and Exodus that the captain of the host or the angel of the Lord given permission to judge. Now you sneak it back into the New Testament for comparison. No, you can't sneak back and forth. It's all or nothing with this scripture.
Right.
If you say one part is tampered with, it's impossible for you to say that there's nothing in the Old Testament that's been tampered with and verified. Because you're going to struggle more in the Old Testament talking about what you don't understand. Is the fact that because the law is there, you trusted that won't nobody question what's written in there. It's a lot of things in there that people need to be questioned. And I'm talking about only questioning from the perspective of if somebody, just because people come at the New Testament It's still people out here that will come at you in the Old Testament, directly at your law. And if you start thinking about, wait a minute, my law ain't right. Ain't that what we said about Ferguson? Their law ain't right. Ain't that what we said about Sodom and Gomorrah? Their law ain't right. If somebody convinces you this law ain't right, it's you going off. You finna become lawlessness. Go ahead, bro.
Hey, Jose, a lot of them want New Testament scriptures to validate going to the Old Testament. You feel me? So just write these down right here. This is Acts 24. Acts 24, verse 14 and 15. And 2 Peter, Christ's right-hand man, Peter. 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 1 and 2.
2 chapter 3, verse 1.
Verse 1 and 2. You feel me? Because a lot of them are scared of what's called the Old Testament. So anything you read them in there, to them is canceled out anyway. You feel me? So you deal with them on their own playing field. It's Acts 24, right here. And this is Paul himself. Acts 24, verse 14 and 15. But this I confess unto thee, that after the way which they call heresy, so worship I the God of my fathers, believing all things. Doing what? Believing all things which are written in the law and the prophets.
See, so when you're talking about the New Testament, it's referring back to the Old. This Paul speaking, he said, every judgment or decision I made was from the law and the prophets. Now, within the law and the prophets, it talks about one coming that's going to supersede the law given to them by Moses and Aaron, because he is what's being superseded. That's him. He's showing you the model of yourself, doing it with no drama, because you're going to have to live in a kingdom like his example. You can't worry about him over there and you arguing about what's going on in the kingdom. You think that's going to be happening? You don't like it now. You think you're going to like it for eternity? You think you're just going to be, man, I know damn well, man, the Messiah ain't let this nigga up, Y'all think it's going to be that? No, whoever you see, you're going to be glad to see him in heaven. Right. What you gonna let when you stay with me tonight? Man, when such and such asked me, man, look, here come Abraham, man, have you talked to him yet? But you ain't gonna be doing that with this mindset that we have today. Because we're using the law, chopping it up, you think that's gonna take place in the kingdom? No, Adam and Eve was kicked out of that earth in the game. Before they even got their wheels spinning. Get out of here. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Second Peter, real quick, chapter 3, 1 and 2.
What's that?
This second epistle, beloved, I now write unto you, in both which I stir up your pure mind.
See what that pure word is again. Your pure mind, meaning your consciousness. Your consciousness have to be pure. If you understand that, your flesh gonna be what your flesh gonna be. It gonna show your past life. It's going to show wounds from your past life. But your conscience have to be pure so that you don't get new marks on that flesh. Go ahead, brother.
In both which I stir up your pure minds, by way of remembrance, that ye may be mindful of the words which were spoken before by the holy prophet.
By the who?
Holy prophet. And of the commandment of us, the apostles of the Lord and Savior.
See, so it says your mind has to be pure about what the prophets wrote about the second coming, because they're expressing about how to live in the kingdom. Anything short of that, so if you got a doctrine that's saying, well, don't worry about them prophecies no more. And then you got another group saying, well, don't worry about that book up there. When in that New Testament it's saying, keep the law and the commandments. It ain't never said opposite. They make it say opposite. And when they can't find what they're looking for, you know what they say? Somebody else slipped that in there. Yeah. Oh, but they didn't slip that in the Old Testament. Are you sure of that? You're sure? No, surely you just. What's that mean anyway? I hear white folks say that. I mean, you're full of BS. That's what it means. Right. Surely you just. If somebody try to say, read half the book, surely you just. A buffoon. That's me to add some more. Where we at? Matthew 5 again.
Yeah, Matthew 5, verse 21. Ye have heard that it was said by the old time, thou shalt not kill.
Right.
And whosoever shall kill shall be in danger of judgment.
See, thou shalt not kill. Kill is in the 10 Commandments. But there's 100 different ways to kill. That's where you get into what's called statutes and judgments. There's self-defense. There's vehicular homicide. There's suicide. There's all of these. There's daredevilism.
Second-degree murder.
Second-degree murder first. And then there's the death penalty, which is murder, or the shedding of innocent blood. Y'all, this is so that you understand these laws and different things and how you apply it. If you're on a street corner hollering, I can't wait until the Most High allow me to murder, you don't understand laws. You ain't got a clue about killing. You can't never murder. The Most High gonna never put in your hands to shed innocent blood. Where you ever read that at? Those words never come out the Most High's mouth. He said, I slay and I kill the wicked.
I smite.
I smite. But he never say, I murder the wicked. I never shed innocent blood, even of the wicked. So we got to stop that lie that we tell on the devil. The devil made me do it. No, he didn't. The devil just mentioned what you like. And you say you done found out, haven't you? Yeah, I know, there's abundance of it if you make a left turn right here. What you do, just fight that week. I'm gonna go straight, I'm gonna go straight, click it. You finished that? Verse 22.
Verse 22.
Uh-huh.
But I say unto you.
What did he say?
But I say unto you, that whosoever is angry with his brother without a cause.
Without a what?
Without a cause. Shall be in danger of the judgment.
See, if you're angry without a cause, and this is the deal, there's going to be a cause, should be for every bit of anger that enters into you. There's got to be a cause for it. You just don't get mad out the blue. You just don't, I mean, your countenance is just frowned up for no reason, for what's like, man, what's wrong? Nothing. I just feel like looking like this, so won't nobody say nothing to me. No, not without a cause. You waiting for something to happen. You waiting on somebody to say something so you can get on their head. If then nobody gets on your head, what you gonna do? Now you gonna create a cause, ain't you? What you looking at? No, I wasn't looking at you. Yes, you was. Hey, I wasn't looking at you. Now it's confrontation.
Right.
Angry without a cause, you're in the danger of the judgment. Meaning a cause is check every situation out. At least spend the time to do that. It'll save you a lot of pain and heartache. Go ahead, bro.
And who? But I say unto you, that whosoever is angry with his brother without a cause shall be in danger of the judgment. And whosoever shall say to his brother, Rakah, shall be in danger of the council.
Hold on, give me a definition of Rakah, y'all, because, look, with understanding the law and scripture, you cannot go past a word that you don't understand. Empty and vain. Rakah. If you say to your brother, you're empty and vain, that there's nothing no more for you unless he done denounced the scripture. But notice it said to your brother.
Yeah.
And that's one's in the same faith. You, what you got there?
It's G4469 in the Strong Concordance. Empty, senseless, empty-headed man, a term of reproach used among the Jews in the time of Christ.
See, look, yeah, it's Jonah at another level, but it's the Jones that you offend and you hurt.
Right.
And you know everybody you see, because you think you may know a little something, you attack everybody else with Rakah, meaning, you know, you belittle them.
Worthless.
You know, you call them worthless. Now, if they're talking worthless doctrine, you still talk about the doctrine. Right. Like when we talk about Sunday worship, we're talking about the doctrine, not the people. Right. Because you have to remember you were in Sunday worship. And there was people talking about you in that. But the deal is, what was pointed out to you for you to see the light, you were pointed to the doctrine that was being taught. And that's what you say, I got to get away from that bad doctrine. And you try to pull somebody into good doctrine. Go ahead, brother.
And whosoever shall say to his brother, Raka, shall be in danger of the council.
Right.
But whosoever shall say, thou fool, shall be in danger of hell fire.
See, you're in danger of hell fire if you call somebody a fool. Look, the fools say there is no God. The only person you get a pass with that is with an atheist. But anybody else that's reading the scripture or willing to find out the understanding of it, you got to make sure you got to add ISH on the end of it. Like Job did, like everybody else say, you speak as a foolish woman or man.
Yeah, look, it's almost like you're saying it to tell them that they're worthless or something. But you're talking about how somebody's angry.
Right.
At somebody without a cause. Today we call each other fool though.
Right.
Like,
That's a cool talk.
Yeah, bro. What up, fool?
What up, fool? What up without understanding and knowledge of a subject?
Right.
What up, the cousin of Jethro Bodine?
Yeah. Adonai, go ahead, Al.
Just saying now, because I be running into kids, you know, we all run into, you know, old buddies and whatnot. You might see, they might say, what fool?
Yeah.
I will give them this scripture, let them know, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Hey, that's good because we grew up in a culture where we say GD me.
Right.
You feel me? Like we grew up in a culture where we actually ask God to damn us. So you would want to correct the brother if because that could put him in danger of the judgment. You feel me? Like you look at it like it's just something cool, like what up, fool, but it's something that God don't look or smile upon. Put it that way.
They don't work it out, man, saying fool.
Yeah, just like. Yeah, but just like most people say, GD me,
Right.
you feel me, or GD it, you feel me? Like we used to saying things off our lips and not checking what's coming off our lips. We just say it as if it's cool or whatever. So I mean, yeah, I mean them your loved ones. I would warn them, like, hey, bro, you might want to watch what's coming off your lips.
That's my
Yeah, my MF, you feel me? Look, every idle word you speak, you're going to give an account of in the day of judgment.
That's right.
You feel me? So you ain't supposed to be loose-lipping. My forefathers wasn't loose-lipping, just saying whatever because it sound good. Their words were calculated. Even the Messiah say words are spirits.
That's right.
You feel me? So you're speaking things into existence. Tupac said he saw death around the corner.
Right.
He died. Biggie said, what? I'm ready to die.
Right.
He died. You feel me? So you're speaking things into existence.
Yes, sir.
That's why you're not supposed to be loose-lipping. You're saying whatever just because it sounds good, or it's the phrase everybody is saying. Check the spirit behind it. Another thing, when you say thug life.
Right.
Y'all know what a thug is, don't
Break
you?
it down, bro.
That's a secret society from ancient India that worship the goddess called Kali.
The thuggies.
California, you feel me? Cali, California.
Right.
They was into robbing folk, putting bandanas on. They was into violence and chaos. It's actually a secret society from ancient India.
Right.
The thuggies.
The thuggies, y'all. So now you get the clear understanding of where it came from. Ain't nothing new under the sun.
Yeah.
Well, I got swag.
Right.
I stand for secretly we are gay.
That's where it came
That's
from.
an actual
That's
secret
where it
society
came
of homosexuals.
So you got your swag. Y'all looking like, oh yes.
Dead serious.
Yo, and we're not telling you this to you know, make you feel bad like all that. We're just telling you this from this point on. You can correct your communication, y'all. Because majority of the time when you can't get your message across, it's because you don't know how to communicate. If curse words is your language, then you're only going to be with a group of people that understand curse words. You have to be able to adapt and adjust your vernacular to work in any situation. You know, and even if you find yourself amongst the thug, your words can't be to the point to make them like, yeah, you got a new leader here for thug life. No.
What we doing now?
Right. So you have to come out of it, but this is a read for me, y'all, out of the book of Sirach and the Apocrypha. Y'all don't have it. Apocrypha, we have it up on the board. This is our Sirach or Ecclesiasticus, the 22nd chapter. Start about 22. Start at verse 1 through 9. And y'all, we got it up on the board hope y'all eyes are a little bit, you can read that far. But if we stretch it out anymore, it may cover. Let's see if I can get it just a bit bigger.
Since rock on the camera.
Yeah. No, I ain't gonna put it. I've been there. Okay, so I see Zoom. I see automatic Zoom. Hold on. How's that, y'all? Is that better? Okay. Okay, y'all, and this is just, let me start at verse 1 and we move back to verse 1. Y'all, and what y'all need to understand also, see, the reason they pull a lot of the lost books out is because, you know, of the breakdown of law itself, so that you can understand it and rightly divide the word, and you don't be able to add your own personal interpretation into a law. Right there. Okay, go ahead.
All right. Book of Sirach, chapter 22, verse 1.
What it say?
A slothful man is compared to a filthy stone, and everyone will hiss him out to his disgrace.
So, y'all, we see a slothful man is compared to a filthy stone. Do y'all understand that? However y'all have y'all deck or you have your landscaping, with mold and stuff grow on that, and you know that you're trying to make the garden look good, but the stone is filthy. Like if your porch is dirty, you know, you try to wash that off or sweep that off, because with the stone dirty, you know what you're going to face everywhere else. And the stone is your foundation. So when the stone is dirty, dealing with it from your perspective, if your foundation is dirty, you're already off your game. Yeah. Because you're already filled it up, and dirty stones come from slothfulness. I'll get it tomorrow. No, I know I see it tomorrow, but I'll get it next week. I'll get it the week after that. And now your foundation is dirty. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 2. A slothful man is compared to the filth of a dunghill.
What is a dunghill, y'all? Anybody know what a dunghill out there is?
Boo-boo hill.
A what? No, it's the hill, though. It's an outhouse. It's the dunghill. It's where everybody goes to get rid of things. Like you're at a football game, they got a bunch of Johnny on the spots on the hill, you make your way there. They don't want it over here where we having the party at. You go over to the dunghill and get rid of that. Or some of us are eating things we all not, so you know how that'll come out. I'm talking about you break green, you can see what color it is. Keep it up there on the dunghill.
That's horrible.
Go ahead.
A slothful man is compared to the filth of a dunghill. Every man that takes it up will shake his hand.
Yeah, because if you touch it, what you gonna do? We do that about, oh man, look at this. In the script, it tells you the Messiah dwells among you. He's in the midst of us. His spirit is in us. That's why when you had to go, you had to dig a hole and bury that. You couldn't just drop that and keep on walking. No, it ain't just nothing. White folks come up without in Chesterfield and they be right behind their dog with a plastic bag to pick up after him. Go ahead.
Verse 3. An evil-nurtured son is the dishonor of his father.
What kind of son?
An evil-nurtured son.
Look, an evil-nurtured son, y'all, you're teaching him craziness from his beginning. You teach him, call your mama a bitch.
Wow.
You ain't nothing. You just like your daddy. He ain't nothing. Just an old. That's nurturing at a young age, y'all, that when they grow up, that's getting on mind. You a thug. You a thug. He ain't even got to preschool yet. He ain't dating that age. You shaking on his shirt and right here gone.
My God.
Yeah, sag that stuff. Go ahead.
Verse 3. An evil-nurtured son is the dishonor of his father that begat him, and a foolish daughter is born to his loss.
And that's born to his loss because there's a dowry that comes with women. They're not called free males, they're called females. They come with a fee. You pay a dowry for a wife.
Yeah.
And if women you don't understand and you freeing it up, you can't blame nobody. Go ahead.
Verse 4. A wise daughter.
A what?
A wise daughter. Shall bring an inheritance to her husband.
What's she gonna do?
Shall bring an inheritance to her husband. But she that liveth dishonestly is her father's heaviness.
Y'all see that? Bring an inheritance to her husband because she bring it to her house. She was raised by her father. This is inheritance to her husband. You know, this what comes from up under his roof. Go ahead.
Verse 5. She that is bold dishonoreth both her father and her husband.
But talking about bold, y'all, that just means to stand up in your chest and tell you, hold it, Henry, I got this. Let me tell you like mother something. And Henry standing back like this, yeah, I'm about to get her, baby, and you say nothing. Go ahead.
But they both shall despise her. Verse 6. A tale out of season.
A what?
A tale out of season is as music in the morning. But stripes and correction of wisdom are never out of time.
See, a tale out of season is like a sad song. Look, if you play, you're a DJ and you play End of the Road at a wedding. This is what it means to tell out of season. You just playing music. You just listen to your catalog. Oh, I need a slow song. But stripes and correction of wisdom are never out of time. It ain't never a bad time to catch one. Hey, hold on, bro. Come on, man. Look, this gon' man, everybody else, man, your family. Look here, man. Come on now. That ain't never out of time. It's a way to deal with it. You know, if I can say something now, it may be a situation where you can't, but that don't mean you can't say it. There's a way to cut in. Go ahead.
Verse 7. Whoso teacheth a fool is as one that glueth a potsherd together. And as he that walketh one, waketh one from read it again. Verse 7. Whoso teacheth a fool is as one that glueth a potsherd together.
Hold it right there. Glueth a potsherd together. A potsherd is just a pot of something made out of clay. And if it breaks and you try to put crazy glue on it and you sitting it right up there like it don't move.
Wasting your time.
The grandkids come through there just learning how to walk out in white Al greens, you know, and they stump. That'll break. Once it's broke, it's broke. So the baby shoes, all them shoes hard as concrete. Go ahead.
And as he that waketh one from a sound sleep.
And as he that waketh one from a sound. What happens when you wake up somebody that's sleeping good? Have you ever got a good answer?
No.
I'm talking about you know they're sleeping. You done hit them 3 or 4 times. Hey, wake up. When they wake up, they like, what? Do you know what I was at? What is it? You seen the remote control? It's gonna be trouble. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 8.
Yes.
He that telleth a tale to a fool speaketh to one in a slumber. When he hath told his tale, he will say, what is the matter?
Look, how do you want to explain this to a knucklehead, so to speak? You already know, you like, look, he's short upstairs. He was sandwich short of a picnic. And you trying to explain something to him, he's like, and? And you be like shaking your head, why did I even get started? Yeah, why did you get started? Go ahead.
Verse 9. If children live honestly.
If they do what?
Live honestly and have wherewithal, they shall cover the baseness of their parents.
Do y'all understand what this means? If you train up a child while he is young, they'll watch your back as you get older. Daddy, no, I'm daddy. But y'all, we have to start early. So like y'all, a lot of lies we tell about these fictional characters that's putting money under your pillow for a tooth getting tore out and Santa Claus coming down the chimney and different things, you know, you set them up. And you say, well, those are just little white lies. They'll eventually learn the deal. But, you know, a lot of times if you found out the lie and you was in the closet before the day and found out what you got, what they do, they punish you for finding out about the lie. Who been in that closet? I'm taking it all back. For what? That man you said came here, he came here yesterday when you was at work and dropped these threats. That one you said was coming down. You lied, you. You're right. Go eat.
Verse 10. But children, being haughty, who disdain and want of nurture, do stain the nobility of their kin.
See, look, if children don't get the law and you don't train them up right, they're going to embarrass you for the same. And then guess what they try to get their nurturing from? First 48 hours. Have y'all ever seen little Willie and Junebug them straighten up like they straighten up then? Yes, sir. Sir, yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Wait a minute, you was bad boy out here just before they rolled up. Now you full of yes, sir, so they go into law and trying to make them think I was raised right. Well, you may have, but you were living the law of the streets. Now you want to turn that loose. At a wrong time. They don't care about how you straightening up your language. They say you got some problem. Can I just go home and tell my girlfriend, can I just go home one day like you at home for the rest of your life?
Can I just see my kids one more time?
One more time, y'all too late for that.
Right.
Y'all, we live in a wicked society, y'all, so y'all gotta give them the tools they need to deal with out here in this wicked society so that you may see them come through them doors again. If you don't, every phone call is gonna be a nightmare. Ring, that ring ain't sounding right. That had 2 G's on the end of the ring. That could be trouble. Hello? Oh, this to stole your medicine, really. Oh, okay. Woo. How you gonna live your life like that?
Right. Word.
Go ahead, bro.
Verse 11. Weep for the dead.
Do what?
Weep for the dead.
Right.
For he hath lost the light. And weep for the fool. For he won't understand.
That's why we can't call anybody a fool unless they say that there's no God. Because the script says the fool saith in his what? In his heart that there is no God. So down here it has made it, his heart is his mind. But now it has made it his word. When he speaks forth, it's coming from what pumps his blood now. That circulates through the whole body. So now it's just circulating with it. Ain't no God. Man, that book, man, if I was y'all, man, I'd do this and that. You can't get angry at it. You just say you speak as a foolish man or foolish woman. And that's what Job said to his wife after all of that time of Job. Job was fat, y'all, the richest man in the East. Everybody stacked their paper together. His net worth is amassed more than they are. But guess what? When he started feeling the wrath of Satan, what is the first thing his wife say? Man, curse God and die. Now what's going to happen if he curse God and die? Done dealing. He say, you speak as a foolish woman. So you've been gold digging me all this time. I ain't got no paper left. Now you ready to learn more. So y'all, when it talks about rock God, don't call him back, always believe that somebody, a creation of the Most High, has the ability to learn his law, statutes, and judgment. Even people with what they give you titles like they may be autistic or they may be that, there is still a part of them that makes up for that lacking part that doubles up on this part. That's why they may be a genius at something else. Painting and doing something like this, but you have to watch them, you know, put a bib on them. But over here, they're a genius and you can't figure that out, you know, because it's making up for itself. Somebody that's blind hearing is almost at a dog level. Somebody that can't hear, their eyes are keen. They can see or they can hear with their eyes. No, Most High don't let nothing go lacking, y'all. Go ahead.
Verse 11 again. Weep for the dead, for he hath lost the life. And weep for the fool, for he wanted understanding. Make a little weeping for the dead.
Don't go too long. Look, mourning was 30 days. Some places you see 40 days. And they mourn for him 40 days. You got to cut it off so that you don't lose yourself. Because when you keep crying, you're going to do what? Dehydrate. Because it's bitter weeping and it's in the stomach. And when you have pain in the stomach and you're weeping, you don't do what? Eat, right? So it's got to be a point, you got to cut this off, or you're going to start to look for blame on why this person is gone. The light is going out. Ain't nothing you can do about it. You can hoop and holler, you can pull your pants down the middle of Page Boulevard. But when the death angel strikes, it's over. Go ahead.
Make little weeping for the dead, for he is at rest. But the life of the fool is worse than death.
But the life of the what?
But the life of the fool is worse than death.
Do y'all understand that? So when you call somebody that, you're saying they're actually worthy to be dead. So you have to be careful because it said you're in danger of, notice he used the terms hell fire. Now understand what that means. Hell is just the grave. Death and hell will be cast into what? So the grave will be cast into the lake of fire as long with the death angel, because there's no need for graves and death in the kingdom because nobody dies. What you got, bro?
So if you approach somebody with the word and they tell you to each his own and don't believe what everything you read.
Well, at that point, or they just re-quoting some or feeding back to you something they heard from somebody else. That person may have not been able to give them an answer. See, it's like when you're saying I'm saved and I'm sanctified, and somebody asks you something about inside the Bible, and you say, oh, you finna go to the book? Why wouldn't I go? I want to be like you. I want to be saved and sanctified. And they question it, don't go in there, don't look in there. Well, I really don't know it. Well, what are you saved from? And usually it's the personal things of their personal testimonies that they're saved from. I used to drink a gallon of R&R every Sunday. I don't know. I smoked 2 cartons of cigarettes in 3 days. I don't know more. You're talking about fleshly sins, but if you ask them, are you sure and guaranteed? If the kingdom of heaven happened right now, you're guaranteed you can walk right through them gates. And if they say yes, hey, what you gonna say anyway? I mean, even if you know that they don't believe that either, what are you gonna say to them anyway but waste your time trying to convince them, no, you ain't? If that's what they believe, look, people choose to believe a lie.
Right.
Ain't nothing you can do about somebody that chooses to believe a lie.
That's our feet.
Go ahead.
Back in Matthew.
Yeah. What verse you on?
Matthew 5, verse 22 again. Matthew 5, verse 22. But I say unto you, that whosoever is angry with his brother without a cause shall be in danger of the judgment. And whosoever shall say unto his brother, Rakah, shall be in danger of the council. But whosoever shall say, thou fool, shall be in danger of hell fire.
See, y'all have to understand what our adversary do. He make everything cool because the world chases us. They chase our customs. I don't care where you go over the world. It's like the so-called black man or woman in America, the slaves of America. Everybody chasing that culture. Don't want nothing to do with the curses, but they chasing that culture. They put rear ends on them, breastises on them, lips on them, ain't they? They chasing that culture. They tearing and they doing whatever they can to chase this culture, but they saying y'all behavior, we don't want none of that. Y'all can keep that. You finished that? Yeah. Okay, let's go to Hebrews chapter 10, and y'all we're gonna get some understanding of the 2 witness system and the laws on when. Look, you can put somebody to death spiritually with words out of your mouth. You can slay somebody's soul in the fact that you may not speak to that individual for 10 years. And you never know what you said, laughing and joking, being the show off in front of somebody else. and then embarrass somebody or hurt them so bad, and you wonder why you ain't talked to them. You probably thought about it. I wonder, was it about what I said about his mom? You think? Right. And then they tell you, man, all this time, when you did that, that hurt me. So understand, different phrases that we repeat, they have no meaning. Sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt me. That's a lie. Words will hurt you way worse than sticks and stones. Because every idle word out of your mouth can get you what? The lake of fire. So you think stoning puts you down. Guess what happens when you wake up? Hebrews chapter 10, verse 28.
Reading in the book of Hebrews, chapter 10, verse 28.
I'll tell you what, before you read that, I just got a one line. I want you to read James chapter 1, verse 1. Now, that's all I want you to do. 1 and 1, verse 2. Just hit that before you get back into that Hebrew. So just somebody quick or somebody else can hit it right quick.
James chapter 1, verse 1.
What it say?
Amos, a servant of Yah.
A what?
A servant of Yah.
Right.
And of the Lord Jesus Christ. To the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad.
To the who?
12 tribes which are scattered abroad.
So contrary to the New Testament of James, is he was giving this word out to the 12 tribes scattered abroad.
Right.
And y'all understand why Judah, Levi, and Benjamin hung together. You got the Genesis 49 where the scepter will not depart from Judah until Shiloh comes. So we are around who we would consider the lawgivers back at that time, but we are there from a perspective of being like Judah, the scepter, or the righteousness, the heavenly righteousness. That's why when we were scattered and the 10 tribes went out all over the world, they basically set up base because in that 2nd Ezra 13 it said they left with the law and we'll practice this, what we didn't practice at home. So when we got cast out after them because treacherous Judah did even worse and they were cast off, we were cast off the spots that law was set up for us already there. The Most High don't put us nowhere where we become more lawless. He's letting us know you can see the law where you're at. This is why I'm in the shape I'm in. You can have 10 so-called black people and ask all of them why are we in the condition we in. 2 will probably understand it. The other 8 ain't got a clue. And the religions ain't teaching it. Why you in the position you in. Oh, it's the Jehovah. Oh, it's just man and humanity against man. Well, it looks like every man's hand is against this man. Yeah. What say you on that? Go ahead, bro.
To the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greeting. My brethren, count it all joy.
Do what?
Count it all joy when ye fall into divers temptation.
Right? Read verse, is that verse
3? Yeah, that was 2.
Okay, that's good. So y'all, to all the 12 tribes all over, count it joy when you fall into divers temptation. Look, temptations are trials. You either gonna get a trial from Satan or you're gonna get a trial from the Most High. The trial from Satan gonna start off with wickedness on your favorite lust. The Most High is going to try your heart and reins and going to put you in a position where you were with your mouth saying what you can handle. It's just called battle testing, man. You talking a good game, now walk that good game. Hebrews chapter
10, verse 28.
I'll tell you what, bag it up. Verse 22. Yeah, verse 22 through 29.
Hebrews chapter 10, verse 22. Let us draw near with a true heart and full assurance of faith.
See, the only way you can draw near is to have a true heart and faith. And you can't draw near to what you're questioning or don't or have believed. How you gonna get near to that? You always gonna be on a shaky ground if you don't believe it fully. Scared to touch it. Like if you ain't a daredevil, what you doing up on the cliff? Go ahead.
Let us draw near with a true heart and full assurance of faith, having our hearts sprinkled from an evil conscience.
What is our heart sprinkled from?
An evil conscience.
You see how constantly we keep going over the word of consciousness? Your mental state has to be pure. Your thoughts come from your mental state, which is your mind, is your true heart. It's what you're thinking. Once that thinking gets to a point, it regulates how the blood circulates in your body. And if you have thoughts of sin and wickedness, that what works in your body. Then if you have children, you pass that off on to them. Go ahead.
And our bodies washed with pure water.
There it is again, pure water, y'all. Go ahead, brother.
Do we have to get baptized?
Do you have to get baptized? When we switch orders, you can get baptized. Let's understand this. But when Christ came in, all of the order of baptism, along with that priesthood, had to shift to a more powerful baptism. We would never tell anybody not to get baptized. If you feel, well, I didn't get baptized, but you have to look at it as a shadow of things to come. The Holy Spirit baptizes now. And it will be a sign from on high, because when you look at Acts 19 chapter, there's a double baptism now. Paul asked, "Were y'all baptized?" They said, "Yeah, we got baptized." He said, "What baptism were you baptized?" We said, "The baptism of John." He like, "Oh, that was truly the baptism of repentance. That's for you. You hear it, you say, I got to get that old life off of me." And you get that off, and you said, "But since you believe, have you received the Holy Spirit?" They say, "We ain't so much as heard of the Holy Spirit." Then he baptized them again and laid his hands on them, and they received the Holy Spirit. So that's in the book of Micah. You know, where the Most High say, "I'm going to baptize them with fire." He who's coming, Elijah, who will baptize you with fire. Because the thief on the cross didn't get baptized, as we know. He received his baptism there. And Christ baptized John the Baptist when Mary met Elizabeth, when Elizabeth was 6 months pregnant with John in her stomach. She said, the baby just was kicking and jumping when the mother of my Lord come through the door. That's why Christ told John, "You don't have to worry about me baptizing you." John said, "Don't you supposed to baptize me?" He said, "No, really, I already baptized you when you was in your mother's womb. When I came through the door, I was conceived in mine. I baptized you there." Y'all, when babies are kicking in your stomach, it's letting you know certain things are going on. But is it some distress there? Or is it a warning sign? Because when Esau and Jacob was in the womb, what was happening with that? It was blows being thrown like Cooney and Mike Spinks up in the womb. And she said, "Why are they fighting me?" And she went to the Lord and said, "There's 2 nations in there." So when your baby is kicking out of control, take some concern and understand what that may mean. There's some distress there. Could be, or there's an event taking place. Because that fetus is being formed in the womb at this time. Everything you put in him, Judges 13, when Samson was being born, told his mother, "This is what you can eat, this is what you can drink, and this is what you need to be around." He's going to be born with the Holy Spirit on him. When he comes out, he's going to be ready to go. Where we at?
We're at verse 23. Let us hold fast the profession of our faith without wavering.
Without what?
Without wavering.
No, that's the problem we got. Somebody say one thing and then we go waver. Man, the Bible been tampered with, man. All you have to say, "Oh yeah," chapter and verse. Watch what the conversation go ahead. What you got to do?
In my book here, there's King James in Hebrews verse 23. It says, "Let us hold fast to our profession of hope." So it's hope, the same as faith, or because it says Jesus is our hope, so that's our faith.
Right, and he is the faith, and your hope is what you're hoping to see. Look, we hope to be walking in that kingdom that we read about. You have to keep that on your mental, that you keep seeing yourself there. But you can't see yourself doing the things that you're doing here that you only do when the lights are out. The lights are always on in the kingdom. They never go out. There's no need for the sun or the moon. Go ahead. What you got?
Right here, Auntie, the next chapter, verse 1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for.
Yes, sir.
The evidence of things not seen. The very next chapter over.
11 and what? 11 and 1. So right there, and y'all understand, see how we answer right back with Scripture. Because 2 Peter 1:20 says the Scripture is of no private interpretation. We can't make it say what we wanted to say if you play by the rules. If you don't know what the rules are, anybody quoting Scripture must have its mates. Minimum of 2 witnesses. We have to be careful that if we feel confident and say, just give me one, and they may find one somewhere. Don't you buck the rules because you feel so assured about yourself. You ain't know these scriptures backward and forward. This is a minimum 70-year course after you come into the truth of the knowledge of God. Life is 3 score and 10. A score is 20, so 3 is 60 plus 10 is 70. It's a 70-year course when you understand what it's instructing you to do. Go ahead, what you got?
Also, Auntie, Romans 4. Another one about the hope being the faith. Romans 4, verse 18. 18 to 21. It says, who against hope believed in hope, that he might become the father of many nations, according to that which was spoken, so shall thy seed be. And being not weak in faith, he considered not his own body now dead, when he was about 100 years old, neither him the deadness of Sarah's womb. He stabbed not at the promise of God through unbelief, right? But was strong in faith, giving glory to the Most High, and being fully persuaded that what he had promised, he was able also to perform.
See, that's talking about Abraham when he was way past the age of producing children, and Sarah was way past menopause. When the angel told him, no, you and her gonna have a baby, he's like, oh, my servant Eliezer? The Syrian? No, your own son. He didn't waver one bit. But when you read the book of Jasher, that's mentioned in 2 Samuel 1:18 and Joshua 10:13. In chapter 9, it tells you that Abraham was in the house of Shem and Noah for 36 years, studying and understanding the law. So when he was of that age, he had no problem with it. He had been living the law. Abraham didn't get circumcised until he was what, 99? So he'd been living righteously before his outer cup was circumcised. His inner cup was circumcised. First. Go ahead, brother. Where we at?
Verse 23 again.
Okay.
Let us hold fast the profession of our faith without wavering.
Right.
For he is faithful that promised. And let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works.
See, we have to provoke love. And what is love according to all of the books of 1 John chapter 14 chapter? What is love? Let us provoke love by keeping of the commandments. Y'all, this don't mean attacking with the commandments. Look, when you attack, there's a sign that you have to be. You can't be angry when you go into your brother. You have to be wise in how you correct. Sometimes you may have to be just straight to the point to get it across. Some hard heads. We got some hard heads and we be hard headed ourselves to the Most High. Like Bo King Woodbine and Jason Leary. Hard head. That just can't listen, always want to do it your way. And you can't allow that to cause you to anger and sin. Go ahead.
Verse 25. Not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together.
See, y'all, we don't understand how important this body is. This is the assembly. This is where we make our agreements. One body. It ain't these brothers sitting up here to make the decisions. We make the decisions off of one body. If you don't understand what we're saying, we ask you to raise your hand. If you leave out of here and say, well, I just didn't want to interrupt, that ain't on us. That's on you. Either you sure you're going to live to next week and ask that question again, or you sure will be alive to answer your question next week. But you need to get it off your heart right now, whatever. There ain't no bad question down here. This is Bible study. It's not a curriculum. We change courses, but we give you the understanding you need right then. So if you need to do this and say, wait a minute, that last verse flew over like an F-15. Can you break that down? And the body will clap violently, like the angels in Job 38. When creation was put down, the sun, the stars of heaven sang for joy, didn't it? Yeah. It's all good, it's all good. That's the way we have to feel about our body coming together with understanding. But if our body is attacking its own self, if you're doing things to the body you ought not, then we're going to have problems. If you attack the foot of this body, we're going to be limping. If you attack the head of it, we're going to be crazy and talk crazy. So y'all, this is the assembly. That's a law not to forsake the assembly. You hear some people get mad and say, I'm just going to go solo. Well, that don't mean you have to belong to no big church, but what did it say the numbers of church consist of? Start off. How many? 2 or more. You got to at least have 2 or more. If you say I'm going solo, you playing against the rules. You need somebody to tell you going off.
Still not solo. Still not solo.
Right. You need that. You got to have that. You ain't never seen it going out and said any other manner, 1 or more. It's 2 or more. Go ahead. What verse?
25. Not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together, as the manner of some is, but exhorting one another, and so much the more, as you see the day approaching.
Now, we'll get false things said about us. They put me out. We ain't never put nobody out. It ain't on record nowhere that we told you, you're put out. Don't ever come back. And we let you know, these are the laws and establishments for what we're going through as saith the body. You don't like it? D-E-D-A-D-O. That adults. But then the only choice is if you want to come back, you come back, but your mind ain't gonna be right. I mean, we ain't gonna sit here and scrap with you and have somebody waving a wand over you and checking for unrighteousness. Oh, he's got a bad feeling in him today. No, we tell you, look, this is how we get down, this is how we pray. If you ain't with that, we ask you just step out so you don't interrupt this body. Y'all, if we don't hold to that, look, we got a few websites out there, Honor and Humility, God's Warrior, 298. We're going to put them up all on the book for Mr. Hebrew 1. These are the things where our classes are being taught from. Now, this don't stop you from having your personal page out there or something you're going from. But it must agree with what the assembly understands. Because when we tell you to hold your hand, this is on film with people holding their hands up. This ain't like we made decisions and then brought it to y'all. Everybody is involved in this right now. So that's what you would rely back on the assembly because you got witnesses, right? Man, what did you hear? Well, let's just put on the tape up. That'll settle all of that. You heard what I said when I raised my hand. But outside of that, it's going to create problems for us. We don't want you to misunderstand. You can't do that. But what we're saying is it must be compared to the assembly. We got to say if we lose one, we got a problem. Because it's personal. If you save your own and lose these 99, you don't care about the wealth of this people. And everybody in here got to be rich. The whole body got to be rich. If you let one part of your body go lacking, don't it cause a deficiency somewhere? Somewhere it's going to cause a deficiency. Something else got to take over for. Go ahead.
Verse 26. For if we sin willfully.
If we do what?
Sin willfully.
What does that mean, y'all? And what is sin? Though, first let's get an understanding. What is sin?
Transgression of the law.
Transgression of the law. Understanding the law. So for anything has to be a sin, it has to be a transgression of the law. And what the law is, transgressions are satisfied by what's called blood sacrifice. So if there's no blood sacrifice for it, you got to really look at that and see, can I call that sin or there's things right here that the Most High, there's His perfect will and there's a permissive will. Things He allowed to happen to get things back in order like they're supposed to be. It's like you mess up your bag, you get good credit, you get a bunch of credit cards, you use them all up, and now you have to file bankruptcy, and then you have to start over. In like manner, that's the permissive will that allow you to get yourself back in check. But under the priesthood of Aaron, if you did certain things, you couldn't get put back in check. You were put to death. And we're going to get to that next verse coming on down here. Go ahead, brother.
For if we sin willfully, after that we have received the knowledge of the truth.
After we have done what?
Received the knowledge of the truth.
Look, y'all, there's a very powerful word in there, the knowledge of the truth. It's a difference of hearing the word, but unless you understand the knowledge of the truth. When you say, I understand that now, then you could tell it to somebody in its fullness, fully persuaded by yourself that I can teach that. If you don't say that, that's what the understanding is. When you have it up here and you do it anyway, you basically saying, I'm just defying the rules. I'm just willfully defying the rules. I don't care what they say, I'm going to take my licks. Same way your parents don't leave out of this house, we going to leave out. We just going to take our licks. Well, her boss been on her head all day. Guess what your licks going to be turned up to? Extra. Somebody got to get it. Go ahead.
For if we sin willfully, after that we have received the knowledge of the truth, there remaineth no more sacrifice for sin.
Look, you keep on hollering, I promise this is going to be the last time. Lord, if you just spare me this time, you're going to see a different, almost start going into a preaching yourself. And tomorrow, you'll be right back to where you started. And the Most High will test you on your words. And they're not to test you to make you fall down. It's to test you to know He's not playing with you. So that you don't go playing with nobody else. Go ahead, brother.
But a certain fearful looking for of judgment and fiery indignation, which shall devour the adversary. He that despised Moses' law died without mercy under 2 or 3 witnesses.
What did they die without?
Mercy.
Y'all, this the difference. This the only difference in the priesthood. The same 613 laws exist in the Bible, its statutes and judgments. The only difference is mercy is involved with the priesthood of Melchizedek. It gives you a second chance to get your thought process right. Sometimes you don't get that second chance. But maybe you'll have mercy in that day. We can't say it. We can't judge that. But that's the difference. So when you are giving scriptures out now, being under this priesthood, your first shot you got to aim to miss. If y'all understand what I mean by that. When you are dealing with these scriptures and somebody won't understand, the first shot has to whiz past that ear, cutting the hair off your earlobe.
Warning shot.
If you got the hairy ears. What's called skin fade. Skin fade. That's the first one. To get your mind right. That's the only mercy you get. If that don't put you on the straight and narrow, you on your own. And that's the difference in y'all understanding these laws. So everything we're going to read from the law today, and the law is the first 5 books of the Bible. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Number, and Deuteronomy. And what is Deuteronomy called? Copy of the law. That's what Deuteronomy means. It's all the other 4 books copied into this last one. Copy of the law. The saying in Hebrew. Deboyim. Which means words. So y'all, all of those were recopied in because y'all have to understand the first set of commandments Moses broke. He had to go back up and get another set. He was up there getting them. We just come out of Egypt. Watch what happened at the Red Sea. And this is another question about baptism. Paul said in 1 Corinthians 10, we were baptized in the wilderness, coming through the Red Sea. Now, didn't nobody get wet then, did they? So that was a spiritual baptism. Now, we want you to understand that if you want to be water baptized, that's fine. but understand the change in the priesthoods. You know, you still must be baptized with the Holy Spirit. You know, because you can't get in your mindset that if I just keep washing the outside, I'm going to be made whole. You have to wash the inside.
Mississippi River dump.
Yeah. Well, right.
No bathtub or swimming pool.
Right.
Chlorine filled swimming pool.
Right.
That Mississippi.
Right.
I'm like, oh.
Living water.
So y'all, and it's not to scare you or anything, it's just for understanding, y'all. And this is a personal walk with everybody. Some people say, I just need to be water to get that off of me, dog. You don't understand. I need to lose. Okay, we'll do that.
You go to the Mary Man.
Right, but right, it is on January Wabash at night. So, won't nobody say they playing in that water out there. I'm saying a bunch of Negroes. No, so y'all, we want it to be understood what reigns supreme right now. We can't go back into the old way and try to make it overpower the new way. Aaron warned you that Melchizedek was going to supersede. It was going to dominate the earth again. It's going to be what Shem was, a Melchizedek priest when he met Abraham, coming off the slaughter. And Abraham tithed to him a tenth. Melchizedek is not an individual of men. It's a priesthood named after the individual, which, when you read Hebrews 7, it points to the Father. And men are after that order as high priests. Adam was the first one on this earth. And then his son, Abel, who was killed by Cain. Then it went to Seth. And then Enos. And men began to call upon the Lord. And then Arphaxad. And then Terah. And then Abraham. And so forth. On down to where we are now. Go ahead. Where we at? You finished that?
We're at verse 29.
Okay.
Of how much sore punishment, suppose ye, shall he be thought worthy, who hath trodden underfoot the Son of Yah, and hath counted the blood of the covenant, wherewith he was sanctified, an unholy thing, and hath done despite unto the Spirit of grace.
So we can hold right there, but right here he said, how much of a sore punishment? Moses punished you by 2 witnesses for just being caught. You know, and see, under Moses' law, if you didn't get caught by 2 witnesses, you kind of escaped. That's your mercy. Technicality. Yeah. I didn't get caught. You know, it had to be 2 witnesses, like the woman they brought caught in the adultery, and they said, the law said we should stone her. We caught her in the very act. When the law, it says both the woman and the man should be stoned to death. So where is the man? Was he one up with a rock in his hand, ready to kill who was going to steal the baby's on it? Right, so, but the law tells you in Deuteronomy 17, anybody accusing somebody of a law, they cannot be currently guilty of the same thing at that time. How you going to condemn somebody for what you do? This don't mean because you don't steal, you can't tell somebody, look, you ain't supposed to be stealing. How you going to judge me? No, I can judge you, I'm not a thief. Now get on me about me, what I'm doing. Go ahead, what you got, Mike?
I don't know sword.
A sword punishment? A sword punishment means it's going to be worse than what happened with Moses. When you get the law and you get mercy and grace and you get that pass and then you take that for granted. That's why I start off, if we willfully sin. Once you know you got grace and then you start taking that grace, it's like what Romans 6 say, should we void the law because grace is abound? God what?
Forbid.
God forbid. And grace ain't nothing new. Noah found what? Grace. That's in Genesis 9th chapter, I believe. Noah found grace. And the Lord spared him. So everything we talking about ain't new. David talking about how the Spirit came over him. We're not talking about anything new. We're just talking about different dispensations of how things would play out to bring everything back to its full. We're trying to get back to the Garden of Eden the way it was before Satan sinned. Right. Understand? Before Satan sinned. Right. The Garden of Eden. Walking in the sides of the north, the congregation. That a representation of that will hit planet Earth. But Satan was in the Garden of Eden when the Lord planted it there because he was in the heavens when he transgressed. Second, Second Ezra, chapter 3, about, Second Ezra, chapter 3, verse 5 through 7 said, the Garden of Eden was formed before the earth came into existence. It was already ready because it was part of the heavens. He said he planted a garden eastward in Eden. Eden is the world. And he planted a garden on the east side, Jerusalem. Planted the garden there. All living water came from there. Everything living water we finna get into fed to all the other nations of the world through that one river that led to one spot. All of those veins come from this one location. Like Isaiah chapter 2, verse 1 and 2. All of the nations are going to have to understand the law come forth from Jerusalem. If you keep hearing somebody talking about Mount Sinai, you need to point them the other direction. Oh, you mean that way, east, you want to go. If you keep hearing them talking about Mount Sinai, they're at the old location. We don't live there no more. Where we at? You finished that, bro? Yeah, you finished that. Okay, let's get right into some John chapter 3, verse 3, and we're going to get into some law. So we can get some law understood and we won't misinterpret it. We're going to look at the law under the Melchizedek order from mercy and grace, which don't mean you give nobody a pass. It means you at least adhere and listen to the side of why they saying they did what they did. And once you let them speak and get it, so we ain't going to do this no more, right? No. Okay, that's all we need right there. That's it. Those are the witnesses, y'all. We're going to hit a couple of establishing everything with 2 witnesses. Shalom, y'all. Shalom, brother. Brother out there. Shalom, family. Shalom. Y'all, when we talk about family, we got to mean it. If you and your family fought, we here to get you into a different mindset. Family don't fight. Family may rise up into misunderstanding, but at the end of the day, we talk it out. And we get back because we have to live under the same house. How you gonna live in a house where there's threats all the time? More threats in the house than it is out on the street. Who in the hell drank my Pepsi? Somebody dying tonight. Everybody wake up. Did you do it? So life matter down here, y'all. We can't have it. Go ahead, bro. What you got?
And y'all write this down. 1 Corinthians chapter 6.
Before we go, we're gonna hit that before we hit this John 3 and 3. 2 Corinthians?
Yeah, chapter 6, verse 1 through 4. 1 through 6.
1 through 6?
Yeah. 1 Corinthians 6, chapter 1. Dare any of you, having a matter against another, go to law before the unjust, and not before the saints.
See, you try to scrap it out like you and your brother in front of somebody that ain't got a clue about the scripture. Okay, brother, see, I know you just came out of the Masons or whatever, but see, me and bro, man, we trying to discuss, and you turning to him like you expect him to know what it's supposed to be about. You going to the law against one another with the unjust. Yeah, we have to be careful about that out there on this Facebook. You're going to law with the unjust. Facebook wide open to every doctrine you want to believe in. And you're going to put, if you put that out there for the unjust, y'all, we tripping. It's a way to do it. What you going to expect them to say? That nigga live at the same address. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 2. Do ye not know that the saints shall judge the world?
Right.
And if the world shall be judged by you, are ye unworthy to judge the smallest matter?
Right.
Know ye not that we shall judge angels? How much more things that pertain to this life? If then ye have judgments of things pertaining to this life, set them to judge who are least esteemed in the church.
Y'all hear that? If you can't get along, let's put the lesser in the church to judge the matter. Let's get this brother who always been quiet back there. He's gonna give us his straight way of what he's saying. Since I've been here, I've been kind of listening. And you always say, let the least esteem you. You think that, okay, I'm the high priest up in here, we going to law one another. Okay, we'll go get the least of the flock and let them judge the matter. That's why you can't call nobody a fool. You can't say, well, no, man, he just got here or whatever. if it's warring in the house, somebody have to break that up. Go ahead.
Verse 5, I speak to your shame. Is it so that there is not a wise man amongst you?
See, he's speaking to our shame on how we address situations in the house. Is there not a wise man among you? Anybody that say, hey, y'all come in the house. Y'all know how it used to be. If we was arguing, y'all come in the house. Come in the house. Y'all crazy. Everybody out there looking. Don't think we crazy. Get in the house. Y'all, we need to get in the house and settle our differences in the house. Go ahead, brother.
Is it so that there is not a wise man amongst you? No, not one that shall be able to judge between his brethren. But brother goes to law with brother.
What they do?
But brother goes to law with brother. And that before the unbeliever.
Before who?
The unbeliever.
Don't y'all know it's a whole nother world out there watching?
Everybody watching.
Shit, who gonna join up? What you gonna join up to but me getting hit across the head like you hit your brother? Yo, we gotta come out of that mindset. Like I said, we got 5 weeks to the Passover. And the Passover, before you sip or drink of that cup, just like he told Judas Iscariot, if you dip your hand in this cup with me and you go on through with that, set me up, it's going to be better that you had not been born. And if you don't think your conscience is going to ride you in, from henceforth, you drinking that cup and you got anger at the same people you sitting around, can't stand over there. Yeah, them friends ain't long enough anyway. Look at me.
Yeah, the Passover is a serious occasion. You feel what I mean? Of course, we're going to feast and eat, but it's a serious time of the year. And some of us has been around and seen the Most High do some things on Passover.
Yeah.
Certain, people wasn't right. You know what I'm saying? Like, we actually seen some things like, wow, y'all see that? You see what happened? So we actually have seen proof that the Most High take that serious. If you eat it unworthily, you feel me? It tell you the scripture, you eat damnation unto yourself. You'll be destroying yourself. Then it goes on to say, for this cause there are many amongst you that are sick, and some sleeping, and some people have died.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So we got to make sure we get the leaven out of the cupboards, but also out of your heart and your mind. That's a serious time. Like, what's the difference between you and the cat that didn't get passed over?
Right.
The death angel took him. What's the difference between you and him? 24 hours earlier, you just was murmuring against somebody.
That's right.
All right, so it's a serious time, you understand? And then anybody you invite down there too, you need to let them know what they coming to.
Absolutely.
Don't be inviting your blaspheming uncle to try to, trying to do something to him. Like, make sure he understands, you don't even want to eat this Passover, it's serious, unless you understand what you are representing and what you're getting yourself into. Because I wouldn't want you to eat damnation unto yourself. Right, so it's a spiritual meal more than anything. I got this verse 7 right here. Verse 7, and it says, now therefore, there is utterly a fault among you, because ye go to law one with another. Why do ye not rather take wrong?
Why did you not rather what?
Take wrong.
Look, sometimes y'all, for the sake of what may get out there for bad understanding, you're like, you know what? My bad, bro. It's me. I'm going to go home and work on that. If that don't stop the argument, then you know clear who the problem is. That should stop, you know what? This one on me. I could have did that, bro. If you can't humble yourself to say that every now and then, something is wrong. Go ahead, bro.
Why do ye not rather suffer yourselves to be defrauded? Nay, you do wrong and defraud, and that your brethren.
See, it say you do wrong and you defraud your brother. You're going at him wrong, now you're tricking him at the same time. And it's your brother. Notice how it keeps saying your brother. Your brethren is like your neighbor. It's one that keep or say or confess that they keep the same commandments that you do. And we gonna live together in a location free of this outside drama. But so far we practicing drama on the inside, ain't we? You don't think that's gonna transfer right over into the kingdom? Same mindset, but it ain't gonna happen. Most High got a rod of correction that everybody must pass on. And you're going to be checked by your understanding, and he's going to check your conscience. It's going to be what you think. It ain't going to be your actions afterwards. It's going to be your thought process. He's going to show you yourself thinking that act. Let's get right to it, y'all. John chapter 3, verse 3. We finished it. And we're going to get to the understanding of living water, y'all. See, because everything is contained in the Bible. Anything we need to understand. The other books help us out tremendously. His brothers out here studying the Hebrew language for this Bible. Because there's tricks out there trying to use the language and say, well, no, see, y'all reading that wrong. This word means that in Hebrew. Well, the Spirit is moving on brothers to handle that business for the Bible. And if you want to get in on it, you can as well. To understand certain words so we won't be plagued with questioning the Bible because you're saying, well, from the Hebrew, it says this. Well, if it's in English, it should match up. But nothing's wrong with understanding your language and culture. But the majority of the people you're going to be speaking to in this land, probably in another land you're going to go to as well.
Brother, you speak English.
Right? Go ahead.
We read from the book of John, chapter 3, verse 3.
That's regular John, y'all.
John's regular.
Yeah. Tell you what, start at verse 1.
The book of John, chapter 3, verse 1. There was a man of the Pharisees.
Of the who?
Of the Pharisees.
Now the Pharisees were the so-called preachers of that time. They say we have the law, we keep the law, everything we studying from the, we walk around like we are respectful enough of God's word and we teach everybody. A Pharisee first established after we come out of Judas Maccabees them. When we went back into the Romans, they set up sects of Pharisees, but we had that problem long before that. With rogue preachers. We had that in the book of 1 Samuel 1 and 8. Samuel's sons was out of control, taking bribes. You did what? You coming here with two fathers, Negro? What? You better go get the deed to that horse and buggy over there before I'll give you a pass. And it's the same thing happening in the Catholic doctrine. You go in that little booth with the father in Matthew 23 tells us call no man or reverend or rabbi, for ye or brother. And he tells you, tell me your sins, and then say 20 Hail Marys, and you free. Believe that paper? Go ahead.
There was a man of the Pharisees named Nicodemus, a ruler of the Jews.
What was he?
A ruler
Y'all
of the Jews.
understand a ruler, he was in the top position. A ruler of the Israelites. Nicodemus. Go ahead.
The same came to Yeshua by night.
When did he come?
By night.
Look, he didn't want nobody else. He had heard the Messiah spit, and he was like, I ain't never heard nothing or seen nothing like this in my life. But he creeping at night. Well, can nobody see him? Go ahead.
And said unto him, Rabbi, we know that thou art a teacher, come from Yah.
Look, he understand. He said, look, that's without going. That's without saying.
Right.
You come straight from the heavens. We ain't got no problem. The things you doing, these Negroes, Willie been learning a little sorcery the other day. But that sleight of hand ain't nowhere near what you're doing. What I seen you do at that wedding. Go ahead.
For no man can do these miracles that thou doest, except Yah be with him.
See, that's common sense when you see something like that. You're like, wait a minute, this is at another level. This is preternatural, and it may be on the level of supernatural. See, y'all, we natural. When you look up the word preternatural, it'll say outside the natural range. When the Holy Spirit come over us, we become preternatural. We come outside of the natural range, and we do some things that we can't explain. Now, at the resurrection, if we die before the Messiah returns, we will become supernatural if we chose, and we will be just like the angels. They're supernatural. But there will be a remnant of Israelites that will be preternatural, that has to reproduce and produce a nation of people, of children, in the Garden of Eden, again, without the transgression taking place. Y'all, that still must be completed. That was part of the plan of the Most High. That's still going to be completed. Go ahead.
Verse 3. Yeshua answered and said unto him, Verily, verily, I say unto thee, except a man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of Yah.
So see, now we're talking about what makes you born again. This gets down to water. What type of water are we talking about here? Go ahead.
Nicodemus said unto him, How can a man be born when he is old?
Now this is a ruler, y'all. This is a ruler of supposed to be low-key. Go ahead.
Can he enter the second time into his mother's womb and be born?
Now you know that's crazy talk. You be like, man, it's crazy.
It's the best y'all got?
Right, your head bigger than O.J. Simpson. You know that ain't possible. Go ahead, bro.
Yahweh answered, Verily, verily, I say unto thee, except a man be born of water and of the Spirit, he cannot enter into the kingdom of Yah.
See how everything has two witnesses? Water and the Spirit. On the fleshly side, if you were to be baptized, and the Spirit side, I ain't gonna do that no more. That's what be baptized and repent. Repent don't mean forgiveness. Repent means I'm gonna turn away from whatever I feel that's evil according to the law. I'm gonna turn away from that. I got to turn away. I got to look the other way from that. That's evil according to the law. I must repent, turn away. Forgiveness is asking, the Most High to spare you for that transgression. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 6. That which is born of the flesh is flesh.
What is that?
That which is born of the flesh is flesh.
Right.
And that which is born of the Spirit is spirit. Marvel not that I said unto thee, ye must be born again. The wind bloweth where it listeth, and thou hearest the sound thereof, but canst not tell whence it cometh, and whither it goeth. So is everyone that is born of the Spirit.
So the Spirit is telling you, you can't control the Spirit. It's like the wind. You can only hear it when it comes, but you can't see which direction it just went. You can't put that go the wind that way. Who can point it out like that? There go the wind that way. So it's saying that's the way it is with everybody that's Spirit. So contrary to belief, there's certain doctrines taught on Sunday that say they can control the Spirit. They sit you down in front of the congregation and give you a list to quote. Now say this over and over and over again, and the Spirit will leap upon you like a wild tiger. Jesus, 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 Jesus. Y'all know it ain't happening. Finally your tongue get tired and you say it. I felt it. Y'all, it's tomfoolery, and y'all, we all not be caught up. And then you lie to yourself and know you just had to just get through it. You were tired of most of it. I was just sick and tired of just kept on just in my face, that lady, and had with all the fruit on just bit down, kept on. I just had to say something. Go ahead, bro. Where we at?
Verse 9. Nicodemus answered and said unto him, How can these things be? And Yeshua answered and said unto him, Art thou a master of Israel, and knowest not these things?
He's like, look, this is in the old law. This is in the law from the beginning. Everything I'm telling you is already written. You a master of Israel, and you ain't got a clue about supernatural yet? Oh, so you don't believe in the virgin birth, but you believe Adam was made out of dirt. And then his woman taken from his rib and formed into who she was. And y'all reproduce it. That's in the beginning of the book. So why does this sound so strange up here? Go ahead.
Verse 11. Verily, verily, I say unto thee, we speak that we do know, and testify that we have seen, and ye receive not our witness. If I have told you earthly things, and ye believe not, how shall ye believe if I tell you of heavenly things?
Right, good question. Go ahead.
And no man hath ascended up to heaven, but he that came down from heaven, even the Son of Man, which is in heaven.
So right here, he's telling you, no man has ascended to the throne of God and walking around that ice skate right now. There's a level of paradise, the third level of heaven that Paul spoke about in 2 Corinthians 12. And Enoch and Elijah were carried away to Abraham's bosom, but that's not sitting at the right hand of the Father. Nobody has been to that level. Satan wanted to go to that level. Y'all remember Satan was among the stones of fire. He looked up there. He wasn't down here when he looked up there. He wasn't cast down and then say, I want to go back up there. No, he was up there and tried to pull a power move with a third of the angels. Y'all with me? Y'all got my back? We can hold there. When we get down to right into the law, let's go to some Leviticus 18, y'all. We're going to get into some Deuteronomy. And we're going to explain certain laws that consist of our life being in a strange land. And y'all, once you understand the law and then you can apply it to the priesthood that we are under, then it's going to tell you, I need to apply this with mercy so that I don't go to war with my brother, because that's who you end up practicing on. But you can't hurt them. When you learn an art or skill of ninjas or whatever, karate, whatever, you ain't trying to hurt your brother in there. You flip him over a couple times and let him know you got to get better than that. You got to watch when I go for your ankle. But you can't put him down and he out of commission. Y'all a man short now. Look, America taught don't kill an individual in war. Wound him. What that mean if you wound? How many got to drag him away now? 2 other men got to grab his arm and drag him away. So how many did you lost now? 3. You lost 3 now. Y'all, this is spiritual war on that level. Where we at?
Leviticus 18.
Chapter 18. And y'all got any questions so far? Anything on your heart, mind, or soul, stop us and we'll answer those, y'all. But we want to just get into some understanding of the law and see how it applies backwards and forward. It ain't never went nowhere. The same laws were in the garden. And if you stay in Mount Sinai, then you're going to have a problem explaining why was Sodom and Gomorrah judged. Verse 1. And y'all, we're going to get into what we call relationship laws, so that you understand. And you can express these things and look at them, and you just won't be pointing fingers and saying, no, the law say you ain't supposed to do this, and you all up inside. And y'all, we got a terrible problem with this. Want to be the Negro Dr. Fields? Well, I suggest, brother, if you bring her roses and caress her neck in the lower area, right below. No, we can't teach you that. We can't even go into that. Because when we ask, where you learn them tricks at?
Down your Solomon.
Right. No, y'all, we have to be extra careful, y'all, on how we never overstep our boundaries, right, with the law. Because it's always going to show mercy first. You have to look. Mercy don't mean that you're getting a slap talk. Mercy means at least get the opportunity they may not have known. Yeah, we didn't know, did we? Let's get it. Leviticus 18 and 1.
Leviticus 18 verse 1.
And understand, y'all, with the mindset that we are speaking from the Melchizedek high priest order mentioned in Hebrews, Psalms 110, Hebrews chapter 5, 6, 7, and 8, and 10. This is the order that we switch to. This is what Nicodemus was switching to with Christ. You got to be born of spirit and water. It's the conscious mindset of the law. If it's wrong, I put it away from my mindset before my hand even attempt to go that way. That ain't my wallet. My wallet black, that one brown. What's tricking me? Am I going to lie to myself? Yeah, this glaucoma messing with me. I think it's mine. I can't hardly see. Yeah, it's like mine. Yeah, mine have all the punches in it just like this. Leviticus chapter 18, verse 1. Let's get it.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and saying to them, I am the Lord your God. After the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein you dwell, shall ye not do.
See, so now he's warning us. What you used to do in that land, you can't do their ways. It's going to cause us problems. You free of that. Don't go back to that. Go ahead.
And after the doings of the land of Canaan, whether I bring you, shall ye not do. Neither shall ye walk in their ordinance.
Now, look at this. He's saying, you coming out of the land, you can't do what they used to do. But I'm bringing you into a land that where the land you come out learned it from them. So we got to clean the root of this problem out. We got to go to the root of this problem. Y'all, if we don't get to the root of this problem, it's going to always be a problem. If you attack a matter and don't go back to the root of the problem, you never know what's causing it. It's still going to be there. Go ahead.
Ye shall do my judgments, and keep my ordinance, to walk therein. I am the Lord your God.
Right.
Ye shall therefore keep my statutes and my judgments, which if a man do, he shall live in them. I am the Lord.
The Most High say, if you do his will, you're going to live in there. Understand that this is a living walk. This ain't a saying walk. You have to live. You have to be an example in case your mouth be put on lock like Zacharias was in the temple. That don't stop you from performing the law. You don't have to speak. You just perform it. Shalom says, you know, so you just doing the law from a mental perspective, and everybody's watching you. Your children watch you before they learn how to talk. And you are training them and they ain't learned words yet. And they jump back. What in their mind that tells them means you can't touch that. And if they touch it anyway, hot. And they touch it, it's hot, it is hot. And then you tell them, well, you ain't seen fire yet, I told you not to touch it. That's what it's like going from hell to the lake of fire. Go ahead.
None of you shall approach to any that is near of kin to him, to uncover their nakedness. I am the Lord.
See, the key is to uncover their nakedness. These are laws or rules of the Bible, just like United States courts have law room language. What you learn out on the street don't mean that. A habeas corpus out on the street ain't the same thing in the law room. They have different laws. They mean different things. That's why you have to have a lawyer plead for you in courtroom language. Or you need to learn that language. It's the same way with the Bible. You can't bring street knowledge into the Bible. The Bible interprets itself. It don't need our help. It is never written that, and I will need wise men to stand up to prove that I am. The Most High say, I don't need y'all. All I got to do is send a tornado through there, and I get everybody's attention. Be out barbecuing and see it start to rain and still want to be hard-headed. You know, yeah, dog, and I told her, you know, yeah, the rain don't hurt you, nigga. Yeah. And I boom! Shake everything, don't it? Most High say, shut it down. Where we at?
Verse 7. Verse 7. The nakedness of thy father, or the nakedness of thy mother, shalt thou not uncover. She is thy mother.
See, go ahead.
Thou shalt not uncover her nakedness.
So the nakedness of thy father is thy mother. And basically, because we're one flesh, and this is what you have to understand about marriage, you become one flesh. She's yours, you're hers. You're one flesh. You're tied together. So if any of that is pulled off, you're pulling it off of each other. So the nakedness of their father is talking about a child. And when we get to the law of understanding what nakedness means, so we understand why curses are pronounced on you. Curses was pronounced on you for breaking the law. That's where curse words came from. Curse words weren't just made up by Bernie Mac. This is where Bernie Mac got that from. to uncover the nakedness of your mother or your father. That means you are sleeping with your mother or your father. Now, when we talk about the virgin birth, some say that that's what happened with Christ. He slept with his mother. That's what the Immaculate Conception is. That's that doctrine. That ain't what Matthew teaches. That's not the virgin birth. That's strange doctrine from ancient Babylon and Nimrod and in Egypt. But that ain't Matthew 1. That ain't Luke 3. There's no such word in that comparative to. The problem is when they say that, we never go back at them and say, would you kindly Google the Immaculate Conception for me and see if it says the same thing in Matthew. If you don't put them back on their heels, then you'll start to doubt. Well, maybe it is. I don't know. Read a little bit more of this.
Let me give the definition of approach in verse 6, which says, none of you shall approach to any that is near of kin to him.
Right.
It's H7126 in the concordance. The Hebrew word is korah, and it means to come near, to approach, or enter into. Right. Enter into. So these are the lawful and unlawful relations that you can do according to the eyes of God. That's what this chapter is about. Right. Lawful and unlawful lusts. That's what you know today as fornication, which is a sex crime.
Say again, so what?
Which is a sex crime in the eyes of God.
That's right.
We use that term loosely today, but how many really know what it means according to the Bible? This is one of the chapters you'll go into to make sure you ain't a fornicator.
That's right.
This is one of the chapters you're supposed to read, right here.
All the curse words that comes behind these names that we have now changed to a smooth sentence. Boy, he got that Cadillac, that's a bad mother. Man, I told that black mother, you ugly mother. Look, why do you think that word is in all capital letters, F-U-C-K, for unlawful carnal knowledge? When you are a mother for unlawful carnal knowledge, that means you're saying that you're a black, uncovering your father's nakedness person.
Black abomination.
So curse be the man that lieth with his father's wife. That's why it's now a curse word. But guess who's running with it? All other nations look at us like we, you know, like if you don't say it like they say it, and they try to mock us too, you know, mofo bad, mofo. Yeah, you know, they be like, man, we don't do it like that. But let's read the whole list and we'll get the definition of understanding of nakedness. Turn to the right, one verse, Leviticus 20 and 11. Then we'll hit Deuteronomy 27 and 20, Habakkuk 2:15, and then y'all, we're going to understand how to apply this when it's said. Now you're getting the law full-fledged, so you can't make a private interpretation of what uncovering the nakedness of a man or woman is. It's going to be clear to you, oh, that's what that means. That's why a curse is pronounced. So that's what happened getting off the ark. That's what Ham did. And by the way, this land that's coming, that we're talking about, the land of Canaan, that's the offspring of Ham.
Yeah. But so you know it kicked off. Don't do after the ways of Egypt or Canaan. Then it's going to get to the acts of them. So it shows you what was going on in them lands.
Right.
And the Lord say, look, keep my judgments, keep my ways. Don't do what they doing. What they doing is an abomination. And then he run down the whole list. Don't do this. Don't lay with this person. Don't do it like this. Don't lay with an animal.
Right.
Man on man, that's an abomination. Woman on abomination. So he's listing all the way down what it is that you can and can't do.
Right.
All the way down. Don't do what these Egyptians and Canaanites was doing though. That's where we learned a lot of that stuff from. Sodom and Gomorrah, that was and the surrounding cities, those were all Hamites. Those are Africans. So the first city that the Lord rained down fire and brimstone out of the sky on was not the Greeks. It was some Hamites, Sodom and Gomorrah, and the 5 neighboring cities.
And the 5 neighboring cities. Yeah. Now y'all think about that. 5 cities, and when Moses was asking the Lord, that was Christ that came to Abraham, I'm sorry. He told him, I won't destroy Sodom and Gomorrah if it's 50 righteous. In 5 cities, that's not 10 righteous people in each city. Abraham asked him, what about 40? He said 40, 30, 30, 20. It ain't 20 people righteous in 5 cities. 10. If it's 10, I won't destroy it. Now, Abraham really shaking because Lot is there. And his wife and children. Inside of the war. So Abraham didn't ask no more after that. Because now they may be included in the number. Go ahead. Where we at? Leviticus 20 and 11. Through 20 and 10 through 18. Y'all, then we're going to come back to Leviticus 18. We just want to prove what uncovering nakedness is so you understand the law of the Most High because he speaks in his own language. You have to learn the language of the law and how to apply his judgments when you are breaking down Scripture. And y'all look, it ain't nothing wrong with if you start off and say, you know what, I speak as a man, bro. I'm just trying to figure this thing. At least you acknowledging I'm not full 100% on what this may mean. I speak as a man. They at least give me warning that, you know, hey, I'm looking for the answers too. But if you shaking your finger and you growling and back teeth is bared, go ahead.
Leviticus 20 verse 10.
What it say?
And the man that committed adultery with another man's wife, even he that committed adultery with his neighbor's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death.
Who gonna be put to death?
Both of them.
So when they brought the woman to Christ, who did they have?
That's the one.
So you see why, now you understand why he told her, look, where are those that condemn you? She said, they're gone, Lord. He said, then I condemn you. I can't condemn you either. I'm just one witness, even though he know it. But what did he tell her? Go and do what? Sin no more. So now we see mercy coming. We see the order of Melchizedek coming back into the fold. Now you get called again, you're going to get a brick shower. Go ahead.
And the man that lied with his father's wife.
And the man that do what?
Lies with his father's wife.
And understand this, y'all. Men, polygamy was granted at that time. It was a permissive will of the Lord for times of war and things taking place that polygamy was granted. So a lot of times a man, that wouldn't be his natural birth mother. But then at times it was that. Just like today. You can get too close to your boy children, women. We just had, just in the Daily Mail, where this boy marrying his mom. And then knocked up already. He's smiling and having. He's smiling like he can't wait for the honeymoon to get started. What you got?
What about when Lot's daughters had sex with him?
Absolutely. We see what the results of that was. We'll get right into that. We'll get right into that because that plays a part as well. They uncovered the nakedness of their mother. That's their mama's nakedness. That's why at a certain age, when you little, you get to bust the door open. But when you start to stand there and you start to gaze, you can't bust in the door no more. You be told you better knock. Because you gazing too long now. What y'all doing? Is he hurt you? You better knock before you come back here. You better knock. I'm gonna beat you.
Walking around your male children in your underwear and in your nakedness.
When they of age, y'all. You got to stop doing, oh, he know I'm his mama. Well, guess what? He don't understand these laws and different things like he should. This is dangerous, y'all. They go on every day, still to this day.
Nimrod too.
Nimrod
had sex with his mama and had a son.
Yeah.
And he was a mighty hunter before the Lord at one time. So this is one of a nation of Ham that was going straight until he turned rogue. And that's when you just pacify him too long. And then here you and the daddy, oh, wait a minute, he's 5, he should be still getting breastfed. My turn. My turn. Where we at?
Verse 11. father's wife has uncovered his father's nakedness. Both of them shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them.
So the man that lies with his father's wife, who is your father's wife to you? Whether it's step or not. Ruben, the firstborn of the 12 tribes of Israel, lost the blessing given to Jacob because he went into Jacob's couch. 1 Chronicles 35, Genesis, I believe 30, wherever it was, I believe it's Genesis 30, he went into the actual event where he got, it was actually Dan's mom, his younger brother's mama, Bilhah. And he got her drunk. You read about it in the Testament of the 12 patriarchs. When you read about the firstborn Ruben, and he tell you about it, he said, I was sick in that part of my region for 7 years.
Didn't even look his daddy in the face.
I couldn't look him in the face, and the angel told his dad, your son out of control. And this is another way to let you understand that multiple, or polygamy was granted, wasn't everybody in the same tent. She had her own tent. There could have never been a way for him to slide in there and be up under the covers with 7 other wives. No, he slipped in there, slipped her a little wine, got her drunk, but she probably was his same age. But he had a lustful desire for his father's wife. As soon as his daddy went to shear his sheep, there you go. Where we at? Read a little bit more of this.
Verse 12. If a man lie with his daughter-in-law.
With his what?
Daughter-in-law.
What's your daughter-in-law? Referring to your son. Go ahead.
Both of them shall surely be put to death. They have wrought confusion. Their blood shall be upon them.
They have wrought confusion. Now, if he get his daughter-in-law pregnant, what the child will call him? Uncle Daddy? Granddaddy? Or Granddaddy Daddy? Look, Benjamin Carter over there in the Demona Desert. It's words out there that he slept with his daughter. And they got a video out there called, where the young boy is saying, my Abba is my Saba. Saba means grandfather. My Abba is my Saba. My daddy is my granddaddy. That's deep. Go ahead.
Verse 13. If a man also lie with mankind.
With who?
With mankind.
What is mankind? Go ahead.
And he lied. As he lied with a woman.
So he's saying this the way. If he lay with her as he lay with a woman. If you perform in the same way you do with a woman. Go ahead.
Both of them have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. And if a man take a wife, and her mother.
And her what?
And her mother. It is wickedness.
It is what?
Wickedness.
So you ain't the player you think you are. You wicked. Yeah, dog. I had her and her mom. Mama drooling at the kitchen table. I think my will satisfy. Yo, but these the mindsets, this is what we see on all the new reality shows, don't we? Yeah. And they in and out of there with every family member? Yeah. Go ahead, bro.
They shall be burnt with fire.
What should they be?
Burnt with fire.
Yo, this was a harsh set you on fire for this. Give you the, start you off on the lake of fire. Go ahead.
It said both he and they, that there be no wickedness among you.
This is in the Bible?
Right.
This is in the Bible. Hey, don't y'all go set nobody on fire.
Right.
Don't killing folks, some of y'all bringing the judgment.
Verse 15. And if a man lie with a beast, he shall surely be put to death.
So if a man lie with a what?
With a beast, he shall surely be put to death. And ye shall slay the beast.
Who both getting killed here? Do y'all understand when we talk about blood sacrifices, some sacrifice, you were the blood atonement. If you did certain things, your blood was spilled. And it killed the beast too, because the beast ain't never want to have instincts for a human being. But y'all, you know what? In Ohio, they have bestiality farms.
Yeah.
where you can go to this farm and pick out which animal you want to have a good time.
Yeah. That's true. Look it up.
Look it up. Brothel. Beastly brothels.
Go there, you make a little change, pick out your little section and what animal you want.
Y'all, these ain't in these scriptures for no reason. Right. You can see it in there. 61. But man, we read a scripture in the book of Joshua where one of Esau's sons, because y'all, that connection can and will, in certain occasions, make an offspring of half beast and half man. And it's on occasion it happened several times. Y'all, they doing experiments in laboratories every day and turn them loose in the wild with a tracking device on. Yeah.
Seen that sheep that was look just
right.
Like Jay Leno guy.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up some of this on the internet and get this.
This right here, the book of Joshua, chapter 61.
I'm reading from the book of Joshua that's mentioned. Let me see if I have that. We like everybody to read together so that you understand where all of this foolishness come from that people say. You be like, y'all have to understand, Lucifer don't have an imagination for evil. Everything that he's done, he's copied righteousness and just turned it to the way he want to do it. It's not his imagination. Evil comes from not doing good. When everything we read what it says is you keep the law, you should do what? Live, right? If you turn live around, what does it say? Evil. So if you don't want to keep the commandments, you're going to become evil. It's going to turn around. And what chapter we in now?
You in the book of Joshua, chapter 61.
Let me move it down to 61.
Verse 12 through 17.
Like everybody kind of read along. 61. Y'all see what verse, man?
Verse 12 through 17.
And y'all see what y'all gonna see is the same things, y'all, that match up. It's gonna see when you read Genesis 36, you'll see the bloodlines of Esau and his 12 to 13 tribes. This was one of his sons out of those 12 to 13 tribes. You see Eliphaz and Zepho. These are sons of dukes of Temans of Esau that had tribes as well. That basically that moved all through planet Earth and took over every nation on this continent and put his flag there. And Esau had the 12 or 11. You probably can name off, it's between 11 and 13. It all depends on how you count, but they're called dukes and Temans. You look up Duke in any dictionary, Temans say British European royalty. Y'all remember the movie Trading Places? There's been a Duke sitting on the stock exchange, the Duke of Earl, the Duke of this is British European royalty. 12 tribes. Go ahead, what you got now?
Transhumanism.
Oh yeah.
Like post-transhumanism. They actually got laws on the books for like transhumanism, experimenting with humans and animals. They actually got certain laws on the books. But look, we're about to read about this right here. Joshua chapter 61, start at verse 12. It says, and when Zepho, the son of Eliphaz, saw that Angeas, the spirit of going forth to battle with the Egyptians, Zepho fled from Angeas in Africa, and he went and came unto Kittim, which is Greece.
And y'all see that now? Verse 12 yet.
I'm in verse 13 now.
13.
And all the people of Kittim received him with great honor, and they hired him to fight their battles all the days. Y'all remember this one of Esau's sons.
And y'all understand who Doeg, the Edomite, was that was standing guard over the high priest when David went there and ate the showbread. So they have a warrior mentality. That's why the Most High sent us to a nation that have no regard for the young or old. They're the champion of murder. The power head. I'm talking about the dukes. This is not come on the entire race. We ain't come on no all or nothing. You know, this is talking about their power head who's standing in authority. Go ahead.
And Zepho became exceedingly rich in those days, and the troops of the king of Africa still spread themselves in those days. And the children of Kittim assembled and went to Mount Zia on account of the troops of Angeas, king of Africa, who were advancing upon them. And it was one day that Zepho lost a young heifer, and he went to seek it. And he heard it lowing round about the mountain.
You know, baying, he's looking for it. I don't know if I'm making the right sound. But it's crying like it's in the grips or something. Y'all have seen the Discovery Channel when they grab it and they still have it in his mouth, ain't killed it yet, and it's crying out. This is the same thing that's happening. Go ahead, bro.
And Zepho went and he saw, and behold, there was a large cave at the bottom of the mountain. And there was a great stone there at the entrance of the cave. And Zepho split the stone, and he came into the cave, and he looked, and behold, a large animal was devouring the ox. From the middle upward, it resembled a man.
From the what upward?
From the middle upward, it resembled a man.
So from here up, it's a man. Go ahead.
And from the middle downward, it resembled an animal. And Zepho rose up against the animal and slew it with his swords. And the inhabitants of Kittim heard of this thing, and they rejoiced exceedingly. And they said, what shall we do unto this man who has slain this animal that devoured our cattle?
See, this beast was killing all of the cattle in the neighborhood and running up into that cave, so wouldn't nobody approach him. It's just like today when you're seeing, y'all watching them UFO files and cattle are slaughtered and they don't know what a human couldn't have done this. Y'all, they releasing things out into the wild every day, and they putting a chip on it to track and see how its activity is. So when you out in the field, you see something, you think you done ran up on Bigfoot. No, this laboratory work. Go ahead, brother. Is that all of that?
One more verse, verse 17.
Uh-huh.
It says, and they all assembled to consecrate one day in the year to him, and they called the name thereof Zepho after his name. And they brought unto him drink offerings, year after year on that day, and they brought unto him gifts.
So we see right here, they start worshiping him behind that. We're going to get back to y'all. We ain't got long, y'all. We got about 20 minutes or so. We'll be closing out. But just get back to now Leviticus 20th chapter. We're going to get back into Leviticus 18, but we just want to hit the one so you understand from the law perspective of how the law breaks down what it means. See, if we have mechanisms, look, the Muslims teach that Ham pull a sodomite move on Noah.
Yeah.
That's what they teach. But that ain't in this scripture. Some of them say he just went by and while Noah was drunk and laid out and just lifted the covers up and peed. They kept that Vienna sausage in the cage. And his two brothers, like he didn't tell them. But those are the stories when you don't understand the language of the Bible. Anybody can tell you what it means.
I've even heard a Baptist deacon tell me that he actually slept with his father.
Yeah, same thing the Muslims teach that too. But the Bible don't teach it because it can't leave you unowned. It won't leave you unowned. Leviticus 20, and what was you at? 16. Verse 16. Go ahead.
Verse 16. And if a woman approach into any beast,
read it loud, bro.
and if a woman approach into any beast and let down thereto, thou shalt kill the woman and the beast. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them.
Hey, it's a video on YouTube of women making a salad, bragging about how they lost their virginity to dogs. Right. Just type it in, women lose virginity to dogs. They sit there cutting up cucumbers and tomatoes. And just, you too? Oh, how was your first experience? Yeah, mine too. So it's not like you read these things, but these things are really happening. You feel me? People are laying without us. Right. Like for real, serious. Right? But you see the spirit the world took on and what the spirit that God was in.
That's right.
Night and day, totally different. And again, it don't mean y'all gonna kill nobody tonight. Judgment be given to Christ. Right. All we do is warn the wicked to turn and repent.
That's all we do.
Right? But if they don't repent, you see what's coming. Death is coming to them. And to anybody that don't repent, anybody that continue on in their wickedness, death is coming too. That's the moral of the story. Sounds harsh, don't it? But that's what we need to hear. You need to know, look, God don't accept that. That's an abomination. If you don't turn from it, you're going down. You want to hear, no, keep going on in your abomination.
Right.
Rub you on your back. Give him some soup.
Right.
Give him some soup. Rub you on the back. It's okay.
Right.
No.
That's the Old Testament.
Yeah, this is the old. It's okay. You can be a chilling, atheist, blaspheme God all you want. It's fine. But I love the Lord. It don't work like that. It don't work like that. These laws are put there for a reason, to govern our spirit and our flesh.
Right.
Go ahead, Doc.
Verse 17.
Hold on, people.
Go ahead, question. Hold down, y'all. Go ahead.
But I was told this, I believe two people have the right to love whoever they choose.
I mean, chapter and verse, though. We talking about God or man.
But I'm just saying, this is what you run across every day when you're talking to people like that out in the world, on the street.
Right, but see, your thing is, like, I'm not here to talk about what you believe. Right.
Right.
Right, a lot of people don't argue their beliefs, like, you can't even really argue with nobody.
But when I say that, they lost. They mouth open and they looking up in the air.
Right, and y'all, the deal is, it's called unrepentant sin. The only reason they fight is because they don't want to repent for it. And when you don't repent for it, then your conscience bear witness of it. Because if they call out you doing wrong, that don't mean that what they're doing still ain't wrong. Because they show yours, it don't mean that. Look at how crafty Satan is. The number one thing in the Bible that it tells you must be is never have pride. Or think yourself prideful or proud. What is their slogan?
Get pride.
A pride. And what is their symbol?
The rainbow.
Where is the rainbow in the Bible? Genesis 9, Ezekiel chapter 1, Revelations, that the rainbow is around the throne of God. So what they do is to mock him to his face. We're going to take what you hate the most, pride, and we're going to take the symbol that's around the throne, and we're going to dress up those boys and have chains on them. We're going to walk down the street with that rainbow in disrespect to you. And now they got you scared that you won't even come close to a rainbow now.
That's right.
The same way you won't come out the house on Christmas Day. It ain't Christmas Day. It's a day of the week that Lucifer decided to run his program. That don't mean you got to stay in the house. Where we at?
Verse 17. And if a man shall take his sister, his father's daughter, or his mother's daughter, and see her nakedness, and she see his nakedness, it is a wicked thing, and they shall be cut off in the sight of their people.
So we can hold that, y'all read that whole thing, but let's hit Deuteronomy 27 and 20. Because we're dealing with the uncovering of a nakedness so you understand what that means. And then Habakkuk 2:15, y'all, then we'll move on, y'all. We'll be closing out very short. So y'all, now you don't have to guess what that means. See, and then we're going to hit where's Lot at? That Genesis. And we'll see, when you see thou shalt not approach thy mother to uncover her nakedness as well. Now you understand what the two daughters did, but they thinking we can get a pass because our mama's dead. She got turned to a pillar of salt. Daddy ain't got no offspring. Where we at?
Deuteronomy chapter 27. Verse 19.
Yeah, verse 27:20.
Deuteronomy chapter 27, verse 20. Cursed be he that lieth with his father's wife.
What is the curse?
He that lieth with his father's wife.
Right.
Because he uncovered his father's skirt. And all the people shall say amen.
See, that's where the curse word came in. Curse. Do not go to the tree of good and evil, of good and knowledge, or evil and knowledge. Knowledge meaning to bring into the knowing or sexual intercourse when you look it up. That's why that word is always in capital letters. For the children, that's what we said. That's why that word is always in capital letters.
About the tree of knowledge.
Oh, the tree of knowledge, when you of good and evil. So it has knowledge of both good and evil. It's just like the internet. You can pull up who were the cherubims of the Most High, and then you can pull up Big Black in Atlanta, and it'll come up. Now, where are you going to be more entertained at when the people of this land come for your hard drive?
What does it have to do with what you saying about sex, though?
Well, see, the term knowledge, what it means, knowledge means to take in information or sexual intercourse. Adam knew Eve, and she conceived and birthed Cain. Such and such knew his wife, and she conceived. So it's K-N-E-W. It's like Mary. And she said, how can this be when I have not known a man? You know, and told Joseph, don't know her until she birthed forth her firstborn son. So you understand what the know is, and that's why the letters F-U-C-K in capital letters for unlawful carnal knowledge. So that's why you call them a mother for unlawful carnal knowledger. You black mother. But we make it a joke. I ain't scared of you, mother. Man, that's a bad thing. So now we take what was a curse and condemn, just like he started off when he was saying, GD me. Do you know what you're saying? God damn me. Damn me. But that's what Jeremiah Wright said about America. When they tell him, you got to get out of here. Obama, that can't be your high priest up in there. Where we at? Did we finish that?
Before you go there.
Go ahead.
Verse 21. Cursed be he that lieth with any manner of beast, and all the people shall say amen.
Any manner of beast. Y'all, it's terrible out there. All y'all have to do is Google it, but if your eyes can't stand it, we ask you just to stay away from it. But just scour through the newspaper, the Daily Mail. It's out there every day. It's happening every day. There's a farm in Ohio. Amsterdam, they just shut down one. They got a sheep that was born over in Turkey. I'm telling you, it's the split image of Jay Leno. I'm like, that was the Tonight Show? Oh, that's a man sheep.
Then they put it in the commercials to normalize.
Right.
Puppy monkey baby. I seen that new Mountain Dew commercial. Puppy monkey baby.
Yeah, the energy drink. Puppy monkey baby. What sense does it make? What sense does it make? Hold on, an energy drink, you got a puppy face, you got a monkey torso, and a baby body.
With a pimp on.
With a pimp on. And it's an energy drink. One of the Super Bowl commercials. Yeah. Habakkuk 2:15, y'all. And this is another one, y'all. If y'all remember the movie Denzel Washington starred in, on the down, Devil in a Blue Dress, you're going to remember this scene perfectly. Right here. Habakkuk 2:15. Let's get it.
Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 15.
Yeah. Y'all don't know where that is. Look at the front of that index like I'm doing.
It's before Zephaniah.
Right. Right before Zephaniah.
Right. Right, that's it here. Page 968.
Don't go to your Bible at 968. You might not hear the same word.
Right. But that's the quickest way, y'all, to Let's get it.
Habakkuk chapter 2. Still very much
Page is flipping. Y'all got any questions, y'all raise your hand, y'all. It's Bible study. If you need some, it's like any class, if you need extra notes, raise your hand so you can put a mark there. This means that I need to go to this scripture. Sometimes, y'all, it ain't all the time, yeah. Yeah, about right. We there?
I'm still waiting on the sister. She ain't finished to you.
Oh, okay.
You there? She's still ain't finished to you. Okay,
Yeah,
you gonna read on here?
Yeah, okay. Let's get it.
Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 15.
What it say?
Woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink.
Look, woe unto him that giveth him your neighbor. Neighbor is any individual that's in the law and truth as you are. That's your neighbor. The Klansman or Egyptologist living next door to you ain't your neighbor. That's not your neighbor. That's two different doctrines. Ramadan ain't mentioned in these scriptures. Nor is the celebration of Ra mentioned in these scriptures. That's not your spiritual neighbor. Now, if they have to live next door to you, then you have to get along. We're not saying that. Don't be scowling at them every day, but that's not your spiritual neighbor. Go ahead.
Woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, that putteth thy bottle to him, and maketh him drunken also.
That maketh him what?
Drunken also.
So y'all see how we didn't cross the line because we making him what? And what happens when you're drunk? You lose focus. It's called blackout. There's times they know, you know, I'm going to creep over there. Y'all, if y'all ever get the movie, Denzel Washington, Devil in a Blue Dress. He went over his partner's house and he had a frisky woman. And he cracked the bottle of that R&R and let him have it. No, take another sweet. No, now put some out in your chest. Take another sweet. And pretty soon he was like this. Go ahead and read the next verse. What it say?
Also that thou, and makest him drunken also, that thou mayest look on their neck.
Look on their neck. See, it's both of them at this point because he's knocked out and you looking on her. You know, you didn't put him in a drunken state. So now he can't wake up. And y'all, when y'all watch the movie, when he wake up, it's, I'm hearing some bad stuff they saying about my woman. My woman won't never do nothing like that. And then they'll stand like that, like, whoo, boy. There's any cameras in here. So y'all, that's once again, so now, when you understand how the law defines itself, we don't have to make it say it meant anything else. It could have been that. They need to go to another scripture to say when you lay with this, it's called something else in the Bible. But the Bible judges you according to the crime that you commit. Cursed be Cain. But Ham committed that act. He's the offspring of that. Cursed be Cain. And from that practice, they start moving that practice to earth. That's why it starts off about relationship law with the chief leaders of that behavior. Let's get right back to Leviticus 18, y'all. We're going to move on to some Deuteronomy. We got about 15 minutes. Y'all, if y'all don't understand the law, you're going to always, somebody going to interpret to you what the Bible means. It's self-interpreted. 2 Peter 1:20 is of no private interpretation. Isaiah 55, 8, 9. My ways are higher than yours, my thoughts are higher than yours. So don't bring that earthly thought process to the scripture. It interprets itself. You just have to link it together. and then you understand the events that happened and why these people got punished, and you don't have to guess why they got punished. What were they? And when you look in the book of Jasher, the 18th and 19th chapter in here about Sodom and Gomorrah, y'all, if you see what you see on TV about freaking, couldn't compare. 2 weeks a man have his daughter and his wife, and they enter into that time of the year in Sodom and Gomorrah, and he turn them loose. And he go running over here to somebody else's wife and daughter. For 2 weeks they don't see each other. And then they link back up and head back home. Every year this was taking place. They had beds on the street corner. And it says we're heading back to that time preceding the second coming of the Lord. So this is why we're going over these things, because we're heading into the judgment of the Lord. And the behavior that you're going to see, so it don't be, you see that, you see that. No, you can't have that sudden fear. You be like, Sodom and Gomorrah. Man, the fire's on its way, so it gets you in check. Oh, I'm seeing this regularly now. The Lord ain't long. He ain't tarrying no more. It's finna get ugly. Go ahead, where we at? Yeah, hit that Genesis for me. Before we get back to Leviticus 18, I just want to come bro ask about Lot's wife. I mean, yeah, go ahead, bro.
The book of Genesis chapter 19, verse 30. Nah, 30.
And y'all take mind you all, this is what we're finna read now, and the law is taking place before Mount Sinai. So the law was always in earth, y'all. Right.
All right, the book of Genesis, chapter 19, I'm starting at verse 29.
What does it say?
And it came to pass when the Most High destroyed the cities, of the plain,
right?
That the Most High remembered Abraham and sent Lot out of the midst of the overthrow.
See how the Lord remembers Abraham's good work, which made the Lord remember his nephew. See, it's like if you're on your game because your family members won't come in, he'll remember your family members if you stay on the correct path and you keep showing them the light. Because some are listening to you, but they still just dealing with the majority because that's what's been going on so long. But believe it, one of them are listening to you until chaos happens.
Yeah,
then they'll be calling your phone. You know what y'all was talking about, them credit cards I just saw on the news? But y'all, we have to get this down so we don't become last-second believers. Or try to convince the Most High at the last second, like we call them airplane believers. All your prayer game get up when you step on that airplane and they start revving them engines up. Lord, and you know me, I don't go to church all the time. Sometimes when I do, I'm paying attention. Oh, you believe it now when you finna be up 35,000 feet. Go ahead.
That God remembered Abraham and sent Lot out of the midst of the overthrow when he overthrew the cities in the which Lot dwelt. And Lot went up out of Zoar and dwelt in the mountain, and his 2 daughters with him. For he feared to dwell in Zoar, and he dwelt in a cave, he and his 2 daughters. And the firstborn said unto the younger, Our father is old.
What is he?
Our father is old.
Strike one first is saying he old, so you know how it look when you get old. They ready to put 2 in your head, take your mind and wrong. Go ahead.
And there is not a man in the earth to come in unto us.
See, because the 5 cities were destroyed. So they're saying we can't have no children.
Lord, nuke that place.
The Lord done nuked the place. Go ahead, read some more.
And there is not a man in the earth to come in unto us after the manner of all the earth. Come, let us make our father drink wine, and we will lie with him.
What you gonna do?
And we will lie with him.
What they do first though?
Make our father drink wine.
So we see how Habakkuk is even playing a part of this, though it's being in the book of Leviticus, is playing out here before the Lord at Mount Sinai. Go ahead, bro.
Hey, these the 2 daughters who was trying to...
Yeah, that's
the same spirit from Sodom and Gomorrah came in with it.
Yeah. Yeah, from that behavior. See, so there's no location salvation. Just because you move to another spot of land, if this ain't right, you just take that behavior to that land.
Come, brother.
Go ahead, bro.
Come, let us make our father drink wine, and we will lie with him, that we may preserve seed of our father.
So they think we're going to trick him into preserving seed, and the Lord likes this. When the Lord strictly was in the land at that time, you know what the land is being looked for, because guess what? The angel showed up at the door and gave explicit instructions on why he's about to get here. Y'all grab your things. The prayer of your uncle have saved y'all. Just like Rahab the harlot, when she believed, saved her whole household. So y'all don't fear, because there's some in the household, and listen, it just ain't been nothing that rattled their chain yet. But believe it, when things start hitting this earth, your phone gonna blow up. You said, I remember you said that about Zacharias. I told the preacher he won't answer his phone.
Right. And they made their father drink wine that night. And the firstborn went in and lay with her father. And he perceived not when she lay down, nor when she arose.
So a lot of people say, well, man, I can't just understand that, man. I done sipped and I've been drunk, man. I know if not every occasion there's blackouts. When you drink to look, if you sitting up in the bed, you done drank too much and your head starts spinning and you sit up. And then you try to lay back down and go again. Find to the hell. And when you wake up the next morning, if you wake up and you're looking for your car, how did it get parked over there? How did I get home? There's blackouts, so yes, it's possible that they riled him up, got him drunk and riled him up and had their way with him. There's times you will wake up and won't remember. But for the shorty's sake, I won't say it. Go ahead.
All right, verse 36. Thus were both the daughters of Lot with child by their father.
Both of them with child by their fathers. From Genesis to Revelation, it ain't never been father on daughter or mother on son. Now, when you coming out of wickedness and starting salvation over the nation, the Most High allowed sisters at the rebirth of that, because it ain't no sin in the flesh, that the flesh has been washed clean. This is why Satan attacks right after salvation. I got to dirty it up at the beginning. What was he at the garden? Did he dirty that up at the beginning? As soon as they get off the ark, he dirtied that up. As soon as we come out of Egypt, there he is again to dirty salvation up. Solomon to dirty it up. And they coming out of there. I got to dirty it back up with my filth, of my filthy fornication. Go ahead, sis, what you got to do?
Well, we're reading verse 32. When he said, then he brought to the wine and he lied. The first word used like lie is L-I-E. But as he goes on reading, he uses the word lie as in laying down. So the first one, is it saying that they was committing a lie?
Well, the whole act was a lie to have seed. See, they made up the lie. They drummed up the lie. There's no more people left on planet Earth. They was aware of, they just was talking about the surrounding cities. But where Abraham lived, they was clearly aware of that. Because Eleazar visited them in Sodom and Gomorrah when he went there, when you read the book of Jasher. So they was aware that there was other people living. But because of what was still dwelling in them, and that act, they would just recall back the wicked things of the land, like when we start off in 18. Don't do what they did back in Sodom and Gomorrah. So their mind, that's why they got them drunk. They knew that sober he wouldn't have done it, because Lot was a just man living in Sodom and Gomorrah. He eschewed evil every day. Because when he told, when them angels came, and them wicked men start pounding on the door and say, send them men out here that we may know them. What kind of know y'all think that was? Right. You think they just wanted, and what is your name? And where are you from? Yeah, we just wanted to know that. No, they wanted some sexual knowledge. Because Lot answered, I got 2 daughters, brothers, that ain't never known a man. I'll send them, we don't want them. You better keep them scared. Send the men out here that we may know them. So they never got to experience a man because they were virgins and they was looking at it like, but they went about it the wrong way. Let's get our daddy drunk. He won't know what we done. That way he won't be feeling bad, but the Most High know, and the offsprings of them were cursed for 10 generations. The Most High don't curse anything forever unless you violate the laws of the Holy Spirit and blaspheme against it. Then you're cursed in this world and the world to come. So he put what's called generational curses on the offspring of the children, were 10 generations before they could be amongst us, living and being able to become a priest or anything of that nature. They just had to live around us like green card status. What you got on that list?
Lie, it says lie, and it says fake. To lie down and still spill, like telling a lie,
Right. It started with a lie to start off because they said, let's trick our dad. That's not what you got, bro.
Yeah, but to back up the wheel, that's 7901 in the courts. The word is shakar, and it means to lie down, or to lie on, to lie of sexual relations, to lie down in death or the rest.
Right. Okay, so let's get back to this Leviticus 18. Y'all gonna just read a couple more because I want to get to the aunt to even drive it home further. Then we're gonna hit a little bit of Deuteronomy 23, y'all will close out. Y'all, this is a topic that we can go so far, but what we're trying to do is show you how the law explains itself throughout the Bible, and then it gives examples of what happened in there. Give me 1 Chronicles 35 while you're there. 35:1. And this is just talking about Ruben, the firstborn, so you know how he lost his birthright. And then y'all give it some 12. The patriarchs, 12 tribes of the patriarchs, and read what Ruben is saying. The same thing with Judah. He said, wine and lust overpowered me. Yeah, 35. That is 35. Is it no, it's saying Ruben lost it.
There it is. First Chronicles chapter 5.
First Chronicles 5.
First Chronicles chapter 5.
I should remember that because 1 Corinthians 5:1 say the same exact thing. So this moved up into Christ's time. Go ahead.
First Chronicles 5:1.
We just gonna read this right quick. Go ahead.
Now the sons of Reuben, the firstborn of Israel, for he was the firstborn, but forasmuch as he defiled his father's bed, his birthright was given unto the sons of Joseph, the son of Israel. And the genealogy is not to be reckoned after the birthright. For Judah prevailed above his brethren, and of him came the chief rulers. But the birthright was Joseph.
Now read it back there right quick. First Corinthians 5:1. And then we're going to get right back to the scripture. We said y'all got a couple more, y'all we're going to close out. Because I need to talk to y'all about the Passover.
1 Corinthians 5:1. It is reported commonly that there is fornication among you, and such fornication as is not so much as named amongst the Gentiles.
Right.
That one should have his father's wife.
See, that's a major fornication, y'all, that's going on. So when you call somebody that, that's where curse words come from. Curse be the man that lies with a beast. Curse be this, curse be that. That's what generates. Now what a railer is when he take all of those curses pronounced on men for breaking the law, and he have that as his language. See, I told that black man, GBE, and I told him he is. And your whole sentence is full of curse words or curses pronounced on people. That's your whole sentence. You're known as a curser or a railer. Look at that 18, we're just going down to Leviticus 18, y'all. We're just going down to verse 14, I believe. And y'all, we're going to read just a couple more, and we're going to call it a day. If any of y'all have to leave before these next few verses out, if y'all need to talk about the Passover, get your tickets, Davion up here, he'll take your name down and take care of everything for you. So we'll be sitting right there against each other.
Leviticus 18.
Leviticus 18, where would we at?
6.
No, that's wrong, you're ahead. Yeah. We're just going down to verse 14, y'all. On this. Leviticus chapter 18, verse where was we at?
Verse 8.
Verse 8. Y'all, we got three more scriptures y'all gonna call it today. Go ahead.
The nakedness of thy father's wife shalt thou not uncover. It is thy father's nakedness.
Who nakedness is it?
Thy father's nakedness.
Y'all see who nakedness it is? It belongs to that father. If anybody approach unto your other half, that's your nakedness. That belongs to you. Go ahead.
The nakedness of thy sister, the daughter of thy father, or the daughter of thy mother, whether she be born at home or born abroad. Even their nakedness thou shalt not uncover.
Right.
The nakedness of thy son's daughter, or of thy daughter's daughter, even their nakedness thou shalt not uncover.
Right.
For theirs is thine own nakedness. The nakedness of thy father's wife's daughter, begotten of thy father, she is thy sister. Thou shalt not uncover her nakedness. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy father's sister. She is thy father's near kinswoman.
Now, if you want to talk about something, it's some subject that we have to hold fast on because the birth of Moses has some questions along these lines. Very serious topic. Easy to be spelled out and worked. But this is in the Old Testament. Go ahead.
Verse 11. The nakedness of thy father's wife's daughter, begotten of thy father, she is thy sister. Thou shalt not uncover her nakedness.
Right.
Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy father's sister.
Who is your father's sister?
Auntie.
Your who?
Auntie.
Okay, go ahead.
She is thy father's near kinswoman. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy mother's sister, for she is thy mother's near kinswoman. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy father's brother.
Who your father's brother? Okay.
Thou shalt not approach to his wife. She is thy aunt.
Y'all, so now y'all seeing who the naked is. Now don't approach to your father's brother to uncover his naked. That's your auntie. So you see how the Bible has its own language.
Right.
So we don't have to guess what it means. Well, brother, for me looking at it, you know, I'm thinking what the Lord trying to tell me here is, don't uncover. Look at it. Sound like, you know, well, sound like it just ain't right to me. Deuteronomy. Y'all gonna get a few in what's called the copy of the law. And now look, all of the prophets, everything that they prophesied had to be with the law. That's why when we say if we go outside of the Bible, books mentioned, if it don't keep with the law exactly, what we read about Sodom and Gomorrah here in 19th chapter, it lines up with the law. If it don't line up with the law, you got to get rid of it. You can't bring other books. Like they say, the Quran says that it's the fulfillment, the rest of the book of Revelation. Well, ain't nothing in here in Leviticus about Ramadan. Right. Ain't nothing in here about Muhammad and Khadijah, his wife. No. Ain't nothing in these, say it again, bro. Yeah. In these scriptures about that. So we can't bring that in. I don't care what they say. Because if you let them bring it in, you open the door and there can't nobody be wrong at this point. Deuteronomy chapter 23. We'll start there. We hit a little bit. I just want to read a couple in there. Start at verse 1. And y'all, this is very important because we use this for other things and not looking at a lot of things what the Most High said about us as individuals when he's looking at bad behavior. Things called bad behavior, y'all. Bad knowing creates bad offspring or the results of some of that. Go ahead, bro. 23 and 1.
Deuteronomy chapter 23, verse 1. He that is wounded in the stone or had his private member cut off shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord.
So he that has his private member cut off, so I'm a man trapped in a woman's body, and I go get that surgery. This is like some problems right here, don't it? You done made yourself a eunuch for what? Not for the kingdom of the Most High. For the Most High, it's all spiritual. What Paul and them did, they didn't do no hacking on private members. They just said, my days of women are over. I'm dealing strictly on the word. It's my woman now. Wisdom is my woman now. I'm going to hold her in my bosom. That's men that have made themselves for eunuchs. But kings make men eunuchs the same way. Cut off their childbearing, and then they stand guard of their wives because ain't nothing they can do. They watch them when they get in out of the shower. All they can do is sigh. Ain't nothing gonna happen. Ain't no ride, ain't no Martha White in it, y'all. Where we at?
Verse 2. A bastard shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord. Even to his 10th generation shall he not enter into the congregation of the Lord.
And see, y'all understand this. A bastard is, when the Bible look at it, it's first on the spiritual side. He don't know where his law is coming from. He's wrapped up in 1,000 different doctrines. On the fleshly side, mama don't know who his daddy is, and none of the family members know. It's a problem. There's a problem in Israel until we can get this straight and find out some generations had passed. It's never said they can never enter. It's just to say we need a couple generations to straighten this out, to make sure don't nothing come back up, because this could be the birth of her father on her. You know what I'm saying? So they need generations to get that needed out, just like with Lot's daughters. 10 generations before an Ammonite or a Moabite, which was the offspring of Lot's daughters, could come back into the congregation of Israel and be a part of the assembly. You have to have time to go through that and get that cleaned up. Go ahead, where we at?
Verse 3. An Ammonite or Moabite shall not enter to the congregation of the Lord. See, now you have most groups out here that don't like other nations being around you. They start there first, but they didn't start with verse 1 and 2. You know what I'm saying? They didn't start there at verse 1 and 2. They skipped right to who they don't want around them. Well, up at 1 and 2, these are your own members of mine right up around here. But if something had happened to them, their mindset they got to corrupt. And y'all, if we see what's going on out here in the world, you will be surprised at the wickedness that's going on with verse 1 of this. If a man cut his privates off. Go ahead, read some more.
What's an Ammonite?
Ammonite is one of those offspring of Lot's daughters. That first child was born Ammon and Moab. It's those descendants. Go ahead, Chad.
Book of Jasher, chapter 19, verse 59. And the younger also called her son Ben-Ammi. He is the father of the children of Ammon.
Of who?
Of Ammon, right, unto this day. So it was Lot's youngest daughter's son. That's where Ammonites come from.
I got a question on that.
Go ahead, bro.
Ammonites and Moabites, Christian, James.
Hold on. Go ahead. I'll show you something. Go ahead. What you saying, bro?
Ammonites and Moabites, were they considered as a Christian, James?
At the beginning. It's deficient because it was done out of deceit and trickery. So,
okay, they made with vinyls and the Caucasus Mountains.
Did they make with the vinyls and the Caucasus Mountains? In the Caucasus Mountains? Well, they moved toward the east. So today, their offspring, Japanese, Chinese around there because they moved toward the east. Yes, the majority of them. But when we're talking about other nations coming into the congregation of us, there had to be generations that basically clean that gene pool up, that it could come back into the fold, because the whole thing is all of us are sinners. And we all will be accepted back, but they have to be accepted under the rules of the Bible. And they say we need this many generations before you're accepted again. Some of them generations went on off and did what they was going to do. We don't care about your laws, God. We're going to go on and do what we did over here. And not only this, but this punishment, even after that, they oppose the Israelites who was trying to come and take a land, they were opposing. So that was another reason they was cursed for a certain number of generations. When the work of the Lord is being done and you withstand it, you block it. So your offspring pay a price for that. They won't be judged for it, but they pay the price for your transgression. Just like we're paying the price for our ancestors' transgression. But we can't be judged for what they did. We only be judged for what we do thereafter of law breaking. But y'all know who that is? That used to be a man. That's why you can't be caught drunk on TGI Friday with 10 used to be a man, born a man in Hawaii. Just wanted to show you the level that we're at. You have to be careful. This is what got Eddie Murphy. See, this will stop a lot of that, what you call playing house, them fictitious marriage. You ain't caught. Hooking up at the club. You get married in the parking lot, in the back seat. And then you ain't seen her high school yearbook or his high school yearbook. And then while you keep doing like this, well, why you keep in the wrestling uniform and that? Y'all had female football? Wait a minute. Wow. Now you stunned. Now what you got to do? Silence. So where we go to next? Shed the innocent blood. Now because you got to kill him. You can't let it on Facebook. Where we at, y'all? Go ahead.
Deuteronomy chapter 23, verse 4.
What it say?
Because they met you not with bread and with water in the way, when ye came forth out of Egypt, and because they hired against them Balaam, the son of Beor, the Thor of Mesopotamia, to curse thee.
So they're saying why Ammonites were put out too, because they didn't allow you to pass through the land. Just like in the book of Obadiah, when some of us was escaping the slave, when we was getting caught up in the slave trap, Esau was blocking the way of some who could have got by. So that punishment is coming for those who followed that, and some of us could escape, but they trapped. But y'all see that? What they say? Who got good eyes? Y'all see him kissing his mama? Huh? Look, he ain't kissing no boo-boo. Kissing my own girl, kiss my boo-boo. No, this ain't kissing no boo-boo. Yeah. Look, what he got? Anybody can taste lunch. So y'all, we're not telling you nothing that it ain't never happened. It's going on currently. But what's going to happen, all of it's going to become legal. All of it's going to become legal. And you're going to see it everywhere you go, every job, and you're going to see the same bathrooms, and they get to go in them and different things. But know that the end is right at the door. Read some more of that. Read down to verse 10 first.
Verse 5. Nevertheless, the Lord thy God would not hearken unto Balaam, but the Lord thy God turned the curse into a blessing unto thee.
What did he do? Turn the curse into what?
A blessing.
But see, there has to be some generations, just like what was told to Eve in the garden. You're going, through your lineage, through your seed, there's going to be a man-child come that's going to set this thing back in order. Christ the Mashiach, our Savior, Messiah, put that back in order. Go ahead.
Because the Lord thy God loved thee.
What he do?
Love thee.
See, that's true love, y'all. They give you a second chance, but if you keep on acting up, he say, look, the lake of fire was created for Satan and his angels. But y'all just won't do right. Ain't no need me throwing them in there and y'all having y'all way with the way y'all want to act. Go ahead.
Thou shalt not seek their peace, nor their prosperity all the days forever.
Right?
Thou shalt not abhor an Edomite.
What should you not do?
Abhor an Edomite.
So you should not abhor an Edomite. Look, there's people out of other nations that love our God. Love us as the people who we are. So you can't abhor a whole nation of nobody. There's people inside of that nation say, we understand what the Bible is saying, and we down with y'all. But y'all, we can't enslave them. Now it's their kingdom. Would you want to be enslaved in your kingdom? This is their rulership given to them by the law. But them acknowledging it only helps your situation out. All they're doing is get prepared for the tables to turn. So y'all, that's what it is. But you talking about just wiping out a whole gang of people because you see that. You know who your servant's going to be left in? If you wipe out everybody, who's going to be your servant? Yourself, your own people. Same problem, gonna be all over again. Go ahead, where we at?
Verse 7 again. Thou shalt not abhor an Edomite, for he is thy brother. Thou shalt not abhor an Egyptian, because thou was a stranger in his land. The children that are begotten of them shall enter into the congregation of the Lord in their third generation. When the host goeth forth against thine enemies, then keep thee from every wicked thing.
Keep thee from what?
Every wicked thing.
Every wicked thing, y'all. Not some of them, but every wicked thing. Go ahead.
If there be among you...
Listen to this, y'all, real well. Listen up. Go ahead.
If there be among you any man that is not clean by reason of uncleanness, that chances him by night.
That chances him by night. If you look this up in other versions, it'll say that a man will be amongst you that had a nocturnal emission. What am I saying, y'all? A nocturnal meaning in the nighttime emission. Wet dream. We call it today. If a man have a wet dream, he be unclean by reason, because when that happens, no matter if you're married or not, if that comes forth from you, you're unclean unto Eve. That don't mean you're defiled. It means that washing is required according to Leviticus 15 chapter. You have to wash yourself. You can't walk around all day with that on you. Ragtime. Ragtime. Go ahead.
Then shall he go abroad out of the camp. He shall not come within the camp.
See, and this is telling you about the level that you can't sin in your dreams. Look, what causes this nocturnal emission? Some men say they never happened to me. Most men, I was dreaming about this, but this is what you got to be thinking about. If you're a fabric burning champ, it takes friction. What a short say. A clothes burner. If you mess with rosy pump, but you're laying flat on your back like this, sleep, and it tells you the level of the supernatural thought, of the mindset. And in your conscious mind, do it now. You couldn't. But that's why Satan is attacking the subconscious. So in your dreams, he attacks. He don't ever quit. If I can get you to see it in your dreams, you're going to think about it when you wake up. That's all will be on your mind. You watch that Beyonce concert 90 after Jay-Z's wife in your sleep. Because she's shaking up there on that stage, still don't give you that permission. I had front row tickets and then I was and you got on some sockets. You just think you throwing the dirty clothes won't get that. No. It's called the Book of Life.
Right.
We can hold that, y'all. Gonna hit this last one, y'all, because of time's sake. We got many more.
Can we read verse 11 again?
Verse 11, we can definitely read verse 11. Read verse 11 for us, brother.
Verse 11. But it shall be, when evening cometh on, he shall wash himself with water. And when the sun is down, he shall come into the camp again.
See, notice how you get to come, because that's starting a new day when the sun is down. You can't go into a new day with the itchy thighs, or you know what I'm saying? You just can't go from the next day. You have to clean yourself up, because that's unclean if you get on something or somebody touch something. You have to put some water on your rear end. Okay, y'all, we're going to move right to this last one, y'all, inside the law. We're going right to, let me get right to it. Deuteronomy 18. We're going to start at verse, so we understand all of the things that plague us now, y'all. But y'all, we're running out of time. I want to get to a lot more, but time flies by so quick. We'll start at verse 9. Because y'all, what we're talking about is the Most High is warning us. Just because they're doing that in the land, don't mean you have to do it. Right. There's no excuse for bad behavior. The Most High said it's without excuse. When he's talking about what took place and what's taking place right now in the world, Romans 1:20, he said it's without excuse. Let's read.
Deuteronomy chapter 18, verse 5. When thou art come into the land which the Most High thy God giveth thee.
Where you at?
Verse 9.
Oh, you in 9. Okay.
Yeah, verse 9. 5.
I thought you said 9.
Go ahead.
I said 5?
Yeah.
So I started reading now. My bad.
Yeah.
Deuteronomy chapter 18, verse 9.
Right.
When thou art come into the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee, thou shalt not learn to do after the abomination of those nations.
When he said you have to do, it says learn to do. Understand this, y'all. Sometimes we be at a concert and you throwing up the baphomet. You didn't know what you was into. Everybody else is doing. This is talking about learned behavior. I want to learn about your God. So you come into fellowship with him in that assembly. I know y'all practices now. Go ahead.
There shall not be found among you anyone that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through the fire, or that uses divination, or an observer of time.
Divination, y'all, that's read your horoscopes and all of that. My horoscope say today red is my color and my number is 22. So now every time you get the paper to go about your life instead of these scriptures, what I'm supposed to do today? Be kind to those that will do this to you in that manner. So what you start doing is you start listening to how they interpret how you love thy neighbor. But they include everybody, so you miss out on a point and you start telling me, my horoscope says. My horoscope says. That's your prophecies, which they'll turn out to be false prophets. Because every time you go to them, they're not like the law when we read in Isaiah, when he say, break your strong call, tell me the beginning of the end, and then we'll know exactly where you got it. They're cold readers, they read you. You come in, blinged out, possible drug dealer, chemical entrepreneur. Oh, belly a little fat, probably eating good off the proceeds.
See a missing ring.
Yeah, right.
You had a divorce.
Right. It's tan right there. So they cold readers. And then you go in there, you want to help them out because you want to believe another doctrine. You have an uncle, starts with an R. No, a B. No, a C. Yeah, a C. But you ain't looked at no B and R. Oh, yeah, a C, that's her. And they're like, oh, we got one here. Go ahead.
Or an enchanter, or a witch.
And what was Nancy Reagan?
Oh, Nancy Reagan was a medium. Nancy Reagan used to run the White House through witchcraft. Everything she done was through witchcraft. Go ahead.
Or a charmer, or a consulter with familiar spirit.
A consulter with familiar spirit. What did this say right here in the newspaper? For running what?
Yeah.
Running a phone.
A cocaine.
So So give you blows and let you have your way with animals on the phone. Y'all, it's all out here in the paper, y'all. We just hurry up and get off that for the shorty's sake. But y'all, we have to show y'all them things so that you know what time frame you're in. So when it says it's just like the days of Noah, you like, it could be right around the corner. I got to clean my act up. I got to get me back on point. It could happen tomorrow. Yo, this is just, it's in the news. It just ain't been made public yet. Just like that's always been in the closet, same sex is out of the closet now. The rest of it,
You got a question, little Joe? Yeah, the joke had to change.
Let's read the rest of this, y'all. We're going to close out.
Y'all little jokers in the back.
Verse 11.
What it say?
Or a charmer, or a consultant with familiar spirits, or a wizard, or a necromancer. For all that do these things are an abomination unto the Most High.
Right.
And because of these abominations, the Most High thy power does drive them out from before thee.
Right.
Thou shalt be perfect with the Most High thy power. For these nations which thou shalt possess, hearken unto observers of times, and unto diviners. But as for thee, the Lord thy God has not suffered thee so to do.
That's right.
Y'all see that last one, y'all, because of time's sake. Read me Deuteronomy 24:16. And then we close out with Ezekiel 20 to back that up. Because it's very important that we don't get misunderstood because of what our forefathers do, and we are tasting the sour grapes. We can't be judged for that. What you got, 19? A wizard is a magician.
Necromancer.
A necromancer is one who consults the dead. Talk to the dead and conjure them up in that sense to ask advice. Look, y'all, this is what you have to understand. Satan ain't made this up. There's a way that we use to communicate with the Most High. When they just changed it to a Ouija board and everything, it was something that we use our preach called Urim and Thummim. There was Lot as well, where we had things that looked like dice, and we would roll them, and the answer, God would speak to us from those perspectives. We cast lots for who's going to take Judas Iscariot's place. They cast lots for Christ's robes. Right. So, if you understand there ain't nothing new under the sun, they just take it and make it even. And now you're gambling. Is that wrong? It's wrong if you own that with your car note money.
Right.
It's wrong if you're using it as the building of your household to pay your bills. You can't put everything, your family's back on 50-50 odds. Those are terrible odds. Where we at?
One of the necromancers, someone that seeks the dead.
Yeah.
If y'all remember the movie Ghost back in the day.
Yeah.
Perfect. Goldberg. She was a necromancer. She consulted the dead. That's what a necromancer, somebody that consults the dead. Dead spirits. They into familiar spirits, dealing with demons. I mean, all of it's real. It's a palm reader right here on Hall's Ferry. You take the circle to Hall's Ferry and go toward North County. Yep. Before you get to Lucas and Hunt, look left. There's a palm reader. Yep. Right there, I mean, big old palm sign right in the middle of the door. Miss Cleo, y'all remember Miss Cleo back in the day?
Yeah.
All that has to do with necromancy, divination, familiar spirits, witchcraft. The religion called Wicca. I heard Wicca. That's a witch's religion.
That's right.
That's an established religion here in the United States of America. The fastest growing religion, Wicca, the religion of the witches. So all these things were practiced back then is happening now.
That's right.
Ouija board, y'all who grew up listening to Bone Thugs and Harmony? Y'all remember the inside of the cover, they had a Ouija board, and they had their lyrics to where you had to put them in the mirror to read them. Bloody murder, bloody murder, more murder, come again, all that. Yeah. They've been doing all that. They doing it through the music, the radio, and the television. Programming. TV, what? Programming.
Right.
Radio programming. That's what they've been doing. Witches even in the entertainment, and that's why certain songs come on, they be stuck in your head.
Right.
For the rest of the day.
Right. And as soon as you turn on the radio, guess what? You think that's a coincidence, or was that child love? Oh, that my baby. Let's hit these last three, y'all gonna apply. They just one verse is Deuteronomy 24:16. And while we in Deuteronomy, I was gonna come back to that, but I tell you what, hit this verse and then we'll hit Deuteronomy 24. Hit Deuteronomy 25 and 11. There's something very important in here when we talk about still uncovering the nakedness. It can't even happen. I want to make it 18:20. Those last, y'all, we're gonna match up this Deuteronomy 24 and 16 and Ezekiel 18 and 20. It's very important that y'all understand Ezekiel 18:20. Yeah, so that you don't think that I'm being punished like this for my forefathers. You won't be judged for what your forefathers did. You'll have your own judgment day. But if you're doing what your fathers did, guess what? Gonna be trouble. Where we at? Let's get it. Deuteronomy 25 and 11 first, y'all. We're gonna come back to 24 and we close out. Yes, sir. Hit that for me, y'all. We got it.
Deuteronomy 25, verse 11. When men strive together.
Hold on, let everybody get there. Should be too far away. Go ahead.
When men strive together.
When men do what?
Strive together.
So they scrapping. Two men scrapping. Go ahead.
One with another, and the wife of the one draw near. And the wife of the one draw near. When men strive together with one another, and the wife of the one draw near, for to deliver her husband out of the hand of him that smiteth him.
So look, husband and wife together, her husband get into a scrap with another man. He whooping her husband down. Left hooks to the jawbone, real shots. Not even grab him, they on the ground, grab. Go ahead, read some more.
And putteth forth her hand.
And she do what?
Putteth forth her hand.
Right.
And taketh him by the secret.
Taking him by what?
The secret. Then thou shalt cut off her hand. Thy eye shall not pity her.
See, understand what this means when it don't uncover a woman's neck. And they say if two men fight, your husband, he get whooped up. And you see the opportunity because women are taught to attack there. Don't know why your mama's told you, kicking between his legs. So fellas, until you get a woman that understands this law, you get to scrap and turn sideways and just keep things trying to get control. Because they train to kick right there. So even when men are fighting, if he got your man down on the ground and he exposed on top of him and you reach your hand under there to grab him and crush him and weak him down so he gets the advantage, the script said cut your hand off. You uncovering the nakedness of that man. Because your hand may get filled up.
Cutting off his line too.
And your mind be, and then you use that against him. When you get to argue, you want to argue like that. When that man had you on the ground, I had to save you.
Oh.
But still, this tells you how serious it gets when it talks about not uncovering nakedness. You can't put your hand there, women, and squeeze that and release him off of that. It didn't say nothing about a baseball bat or a skip. Bang him across the head and help him get him off up. But you can't go there. You can't kill life of nobody. Those are the rules of the scripture. So get that out of y'all mind when you go for the weak points, and that's what you're going for. Satan trains to go for the weak point of a man. That's where his strength at. He's supposed to gird and guard his loins because that's where his truth is at. Because there's a covenant there for that man. But y'all go ahead these last flip right over where y'all in Deuteronomy 24, just one back, verse 16, and the last one in there, y'all we're closing out. 24 and 16. That same Deuteronomy.
Deuteronomy 24 and 16.
What it say?
The father shall not be put to death for their children. Neither shall the children be put to death for their father. Every man shall be put to death for his own sin.
Do y'all see that? Every man put to death for his own sins. So it's a doctrine out there talking about Malachi Yard. Negro used to be the lead singer in the R&B group Tavares, calling himself the Messiah. He's into
Polite
more
daddy.
society, yeah, polite daddy. He's saying he's Melchizedek. He's saying he is, he's that, he's all of these things, and saying he's doing 60 years in the penitentiary. His followers are telling you, oh, he took that case for his son. Right here, say you can't do that. You can't take the case for your son. Ezekiel 18, verse 20, y'all, this last one. Y'all, with this last one, y'all, we out here. We'll close with Psalms 102. Let's get it. Ezekiel 18:20. What it say? Unless you need the back.
Ezekiel 18, verse 20.
What it say?
The soul that sinneth.
The soul that do what?
Sinneth.
That's talking about every individual one, ain't it?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It shall die.
It shall do what?
It shall die.
Okay.
The son shall not bear the iniquity of the father, neither shall the father bear the iniquity of the son. The righteousness of the righteous shall be upon him, and the wickedness of the wicked shall be upon him.
So y'all, we see here clear that nobody, in all these terms, I put that on my mom, I put that on my dad. No, you can't put your sins off on nobody else. Not even the devil. Y'all hold it down over there. Not even the devil you can put your sins off on. You won't be judged according to your behavior. So y'all, with that, we weren't able to get into a lot of the laws, but we want to just show you the pattern of how the law, when they're broken and the behavior comes back to how it's worded. And the punishment is the same punishment throughout for every time that event takes place. Y'all will close out. Anybody got any announcements? Since you got the announcement?
We have the Purim.
Hold it down, y'all.
We have the Purim giveaway event on March 27th. Anybody that chooses to make clothing or non-perishable donations, you are responsible for getting them to and from the garden. We're not going to bring any of those clothing to the camp and store here. Take them back home if it's not given away. We're asking also for that event that everybody that comes bring a pack of hot dogs or buns or something to contribute to give away to the community.
Okay, y'all, what she's speaking of is the Holy Feast Day Purim that's coming up March 27th. It's a day about, you can read about in the book of Esther. If you want to get a little bit understanding on it before it happens, but it's March 27th. That's on a Sunday, right, sis?
Yes.
And not only that, but that's a day that where we gave our gifts to the poor at that time. So if you need to clean your closet out, you got some clothes, nice clothing, you can't fit them no more. They, you know, they're wear, but they still good. You don't want to just throw them away or drop them in that box. Bag them up. Bring them to, we got a community garden on Goodfellow between Terry and Roosevelt. During that day, we're going to have that, and you bring whatever you need. You can lay out those clothes on the table. Whoever from the neighborhood come by and need those items, they can take them. Also, we'll have what we call little care bags, and they'll have like men personal, women personal, and some things like that for them to take home as well with them. You know, and then we ask everybody to bring a pack of hot dogs, if you can afford it, if it's in your budget, bring a pack of hot dogs. Beef hot dog, neighborhood, beef hot dog, all chicken, no mixture of them other ones all together. Either all beef, no pork. No pork. Y'all understand that, because we have to be clean diet out there, and we'll be just doing that, and we'll have what's the neighborhood giveaway, you know, to get clothing and little care packages to take them through. And y'all, we'll be doing that on the 27th of March. And we'll be starting about what time, sis? Well, all of the team members out there about 10.
Starting at 10, and that's also the kickoff of the garden.
Right. Also, y'all, that's the kickoff of opening up our garden. We got a community garden there. We're going to get it prepared as well as we get there at 10 o'clock. That's to set that all up. But we'll have that. So y'all, mark it on your calendar, March 27th. We need everybody now in this last announcement. We got Passover 30 days. You know what you got? Sorry, D. Go ahead. Hold it down, y'all.
You got a set of king size mattress and a box frame. And it's really good condition. I'm just giving away for anybody to get it.
Free of peace thing. What you saying? That's what it said. That's what it said.
I give it away to anybody if y'all come over and get it today. I don't want to put a good mattress sit on it. Just sit out for yeah.
Absolutely, y'all. What you got, Ken?
I got a refrigerator that I'm ready to get rid of. My wife wants me to get a new one, but
Right.
got it.
So yes, look, he said as long as he got it, he got to get the new one. But if y'all take it, you don't have to get the new one. But we'll say again, so everybody get with whoever make these announcements. If y'all need a refrigerator, y'all need the mattress, y'all get with both individuals, y'all hold y'all hand up so they can see y'all out there. What you got, Hebrew brother Israel? Go ahead. Oh, okay, so go ahead, bro. Hold it down, y'all.
Want the family to take advantage of those CDs on there. There's so many distractions throughout the week that Satan got up. And you can take advantage of those CDs, they free. Write it out 3 and 4, and got the 4th trial to use. You have some music. Keep you occupied throughout the week.
Yeah. So yeah. And that's why we'll be up on. Yeah. What you got, bro? Psalm closing at Psalm 102. 12 o'clock, we'll be getting that up. What, 10 for the garden work, right? Open it up. 10 for everything. Okay, so we're going to have a crew over there and a crew over here. So 10 a.m. for the help. You know, so.